into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning Expresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Welcome. It is so lovely to have you along for the ride this morning. My name is Carl Wasty. Welcome to Expresso on your beautiful channel called S3. We are your feel-good breakfast show, and I can tell you I'm a big fan. Really a big fan of you actually being here for a very special show this morning. So this morning we are traveling to the land of Japan, from highlighting our Paralympians winning gold medals to finding out the difference between yukata and kimono traditional attire. Then things get exciting in the kitchen as we get to traditional Japanese treats, including mochi mochi, which is going to be absolutely sensational. I can guarantee you it's going to be a day where you can just say konnichiwa and enjoy yourself today. And also, when it comes to certain characters in the Japanese traditions like anime, it's so interesting to find out which one of these you want to be like. So there's one person that I look to for guidance in this particular sphere, and that is a very good-looking man that's going to smolder at the camera and say good morning. Take a look at this guy.
I was trying to go super now. What I was trying to do there was go Super Saiyan. I was just trying to go Super Saiyan just once in my life. When it comes to anime characters, undoubtedly Goku is probably my favorite because it's interwoven into my DNA from watching Dragon Ball Z from a young age. But a very good morning from my side as well. My name is Graham Richards. So good to be connecting with you. It's been a long week. I think a lot of people have really felt it. So we're going to put the brakes on, take it nice and easy this morning and have a lot of fun. And loving the fact that we're exploring the culture of Japan. And when it comes to their cinematic achievements, anime obviously stands proudly on the top. And we are posing this question to you this morning, and there you can see Goku and Vegeta staring back at you. If you could be any anime character, who would it be and why? I feel like I have the rage in me, and I just like to be able to level up. Every time I feel it, just level up and have my hair glow bright white. But you can let us know on the Expresso Morning Show Facebook page. Connect with us, chat with us. In fact, this whole morning is going to be a beautiful cultural investigation, celebration of all things Japanese. And hopefully we'll open your eyes and open your hearts just a little bit today. But it's going to be, most importantly, a prelude to the weekend and an opportunity to get you set for the day ahead. So let's do that right now and start with those news headlines.
Thanks a lot, G. Let's do that indeed. The National Institute for Communicable Diseases last night said there was a sustained downward trend in the current coronavirus surge countrywide. This as 6,270 new COVID-19 cases and 175 deaths were recorded in the past 24 hours. Earlier, the South African Football Association said it would hand out free tickets to vaccinated football fans attending next month's World Cup qualifier between the national team, Bafana Bafana, and Ethiopia. It said fans who had been jabbed would be prioritized at matches and other entertainment events. Meanwhile, the acting director general of the Department of Health, that's Dr. Nicholas Crisp, said SA has surplus of COVID-19 vaccine. The department, led by Deputy Minister Simongiseni Ndlomo, has briefed Parliament's Committee on Health on the country's vaccination program and vaccine purchases. Crisp says the latest figures show that a total of some 14 million doses of vaccine have been administered so far. He says the department will manage the inventory well. On to international news, an outbreak of meningitis has been declared in the northeastern region of the Democratic Republic of Congo. So far, more than 120 people have succumbed. More than 100 people are receiving treatment at home and in health facilities. The region is part of the so-called African meningitis belt that runs across the continent from Senegal to Ethiopia, covering 26 countries. Some of these regions are vulnerable to recurrent outbreaks, especially during the dry season from January to July. Alarms were triggered on board the International Space Station yesterday when the crew reported smoke and the smell of burning plastic. The incident centered on the Russian belt, that's Zvezda module, which has living quarters. The aging space station has suffered a number of failures over the years, and a Russian official recently warned of outdated hardware and failing systems. These include air leaks, misfiring engines, and cracks. Russia's space agency Roscosmos said later that all systems were back to normal. And next, Japanese Japanese patrol vessel crew rushed to save a dog, believe it or not. The crew of a patrol vessel of Japan's Nagoya Coast Guard a few days ago rushed to rescue a dog stuck on a concrete revetment in a river near the city after receiving a frantic call from its distraught owner. The crew of the patrol vessel found a beautiful Shetland sheepdog, also known as a Sheltie, at the bottom of the concrete revetment near the mouth of the Mino River. The revetment was too steep for the dog to ascend, and the crew initially tried several times to scoop up the pooch with a landing net, but the animal was wet, agitated and too heavy. Then it started swimming away in the cold water, and the Coast Guard crew calmly gave chase and managed to collar it as it headed to the revetment again. The dog was safely returned to its extremely happy and appreciative owner, who had anxiously been watching the rescue drama from close by. What a beautiful feel-good story as we move on to some sports headlines with my dog, Graham.
It looks like he's got his bark back. Temba Bavuma will again lead the Proteas in the 7th edition of the T20 World Cup, taking place in the UAE and Oman next month. It'll be his first major world event at the helm since his permanent appointment earlier this year. Keshav Maharaj and Bjorn Fortuin are perhaps the surprise inclusions, with Andile Petlokwayo, George Linda and Lizard Williams named as travelling reserves. South Africa get their World Cup campaign underway against Australia on the 23rd of October, and of course kickstart their T20s against Sri Lanka later today. And staying with cricket, the Proteas women will be hoping to build on their 8-wicket win over the West Indies in the first ODI, when the second of 5 matches gets underway at 4 p.m. this afternoon. The convincing win in the opening game of the series was set up by a brilliant 91 from Lizelle Lee, which really is one of the best players in the world at the moment, at the top of the order certainly. Before that, Ayabonga Kaka, Tumi Sekokune and Dane van Niekerk all took 2 wickets each as the hosts were dismissed for just 153. High-stakes rugby this weekend. The Sharks head coach Sean Everett has opted for continuity and consistency in terms of his team selection for the Currie Cup final against the Bulls tomorrow. Excuse me, it does bring a little frog to my throat. Springbok front rower Thomas du Toit has been named in that starting lineup, with Pepsi Buthelezi once again captaining the side. The Sharks won the previous meeting between the sides last month 35-28 and booked their spot in that final after beating the Griquas 28-24 in the semis. Then on to football. The English top flight is back after the international break with a full roster of fixtures to look forward to. The standout game will undoubtedly be between Leicester and Man City tomorrow. Then all eyes will be on Man United, as Cristiano Ronaldo could potentially make his second debut for the side when the Red Devils play Newcastle. Then Arsenal will be hoping for their first win of the campaign when they take on Norwich, while the only game on Sunday sees Liverpool travelling to Leeds. But we'll delve a little deeper into all of our weekend sporting action and do a bit of a recap of what was ultimately a very successful Paralympic Games for a small South African contingent. So stick around for the first hour. Right now, though, let's bring a little sunlight to your life with the weather.
Let's do that indeed, and starting off with something bright and blooming. The world's largest natural flower garden, the West Coast and Namakwaland, is currently in full bloom. Every clear day, the sun transforms billions of flowers into a sea of magnificent and vibrant colors. But as we're visiting Japan this morning, let's have a look at the country's world-famous flower season, known as Sakura. The cherry blossom season, the national flower of Japan, the cherry blossom is a huge historical and cultural significance, representing a time of renewal and optimism. These small and dainty flowers bloom in hues of pink and white, creating clouds of beauty across Japan. In spring, cherry blossoms usually bloom between mid-March and early May. Yoshino, where a carpet of blushing blooms cascade the mountainsides annually, is probably Japan's most famous cherry bloom destination. Japanese culture recognizes the short-lived lifespan of the flower as a symbol of the transience of human existence. When cherry blossoms bloom, they flower into vibrant and potent flowers, only to fall from their trees a fortnight later. This seen as a melancholic yet beautiful metaphor for our fleeting lives. That was absolutely beautiful. Now, we can't explore another country without finding out about the landscape and geography too. So we thought we would spruce it up a little bit this morning with some fun facts about Japan. Now, did you know that over 70% of Japan is mountainous? This hilly terrain includes over 100 active volcanoes. Japan's famous Mount Fuji is still active, though it last erupted in 1707, which lasted a whole 2 weeks. Figures show that around 300,000 people climb Mount Fuji a year, surrounded by 5 beautiful lakes. The geothermal activity in the area provides the perfect hot springs to bathe in after a long day's climb. Back on our own shores, we of course have some sunrise photos to share as we begin the day. And starting us off this week, I can tell you that Alan Radnicki is always ready to make it happen for us from Stellenbosch, who captured and shared this throwback with us to a bit of an overcast view of the fields in the area. Now, taking us a little further north into the coast of Durban is Joey Peterson, who also shared this throwback to Monday just before the rain arrived. Thank you so much for those pictures. Please keep them coming. If you've got anything good to share, Expresso's Facebook page is the best place to place your picture. Now, let's go over to some of the temperatures from across the country, and starting with you, Polokwane, Dumelang. 6 is your minimum to a high of 22 degrees Celsius. Bombela, goeiemorgen to you. 10 is your minimum. You jump up to 23 later. Pretoria, a very beautiful 25 for you. 9 is what you can experience this morning. Johannesburg, 9 degrees Celsius, and you top at 23. Mahikeng, 12 to 26 today. Klerksdorp, looking good, 9 to 28 degrees Celsius. Kimberley, a lovely summer's day for you, 29 degrees. 14 is the minimum. Bloemfontein, also looking nice and warm, 27, and that is from a low of 8. Richards Bay, 16 to 23, with a 25% chance of precipitation in your area. Pietermaritzburg, 13, rising to 28 degrees Celsius. Durban, 17 to 25. Umtata, you max out at 31 from a low of 13. East London, 17 to 30. Cradock, top of the temperatures, 34 degrees Celsius. 14 is where you start this morning. Gqeberha, 13 to 30. George, 11 up to 25 degrees Celsius. Cape Town looking clear, 11 to 19. Worcester, 28 degrees Celsius is what you can experience this afternoon from 11 this morning. Sutherland, 11 to 24. And Uppington wrapping with you, as always, 33 is your max from a low of 18. That's wrapping the temperatures as well as your weather news. Anything to share, please feel free. Those sunrise photos are welcome on the Expresso Facebook page as we tour Japan on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
In fact, we're going to tour the world in just a moment. We're going to introduce you to our new sports writer here on the show, Mike Pedro. Going to give him a warm welcome to the show, and he's going to take us through all of the weekend sporting highlights along with a super fan. Then you might have picked up a couple of smooth or not so smooth dance moves over the past week. We will get to relive some of the ultimate dance moves. And of course, you have your say as well. You can let us know who's smooth and who is not smooth. And yes, we shall laugh. So join us in just a second. The fun continues in a moment.
Only you can make my day.
You can do anything. All you need is determination. And a fresh pair of these, Nallis. But what's the point of looking like Injeke if your dreams go up in flames? In this world of doing it for a gram, do you want a bank that takes your money or a bank that takes your money seriously?
It's my feel good.
Welcome back as we do a little speed dating with sport. It's another action-packed weekend of sports ahead of us with the Springboks facing Australia in the Rugby Championship. Then, of course, the men's and women's finals of the US Open. We've got Formula One in Monza and the return of local and international club football. So after the international break, we cannot wait to sink our teeth into this. And we've got sports anchor and our new sports writer on the show, Michael Pedro, joining us. And then super fan Rafiwe pitching about who's going to be dealing with all of the upcoming action. Please can we give them a big, warm Expresso welcome. Michael, so good to have you on the team, buddy. I cannot wait to chat. I know you're a Liverpool fan, so that has tempered my excitement just a little bit, but I'm not going to let it stand in the way of us forming a meaningful relationship. And when it comes to meaningful sport to watch this weekend, we've been loving international rugby because the Springboks seem to have not missed a beat. They haven't played pretty much since their Rugby World Cup winning performance in Japan, but they seem to have kept that same culture, that same system, and they are playing beautifully. 5 changes up front. Dwayne Vermeulen comes back into the team. This is looking like a World Cup winning team. Mike, how are you feeling about the encounter against Australia on Sunday?
Good morning. Thanks very much for having me, Graham. I'll leave that Liverpool comment for later. I think the Springboks do look good. I mean, Argentina pose a different threat to what Australia will. Australia like running with the ball and high tempo sort of play on attack. And I think that's something that South Africa will definitely have to adapt to. Argentina in the previous games tried to match us physically. I don't think many teams in the world can do that, but Australia try and model themselves a little bit more like New Zealand. So they'll definitely come with high tempo and more running rugby. So that'll be a different test for the Springboks. But obviously, South Africa, with a lot of confidence, having won the British and Irish Lions series earlier this year, the 2 wins against Argentina at the beginning of the Rugby Championship as well. On the flip side, Australia have been handed a rugby lesson in the last couple of weeks against New Zealand. So it all points to South Africa doing very well. It's just about Australia's sort of response after those back-to-back defeats against the All Blacks.
There have been some funny memes going around, like bring in Quade Cooper. What do Australia need to do to up the level and to match South Africa physically on that front? How do you see them approaching this game, knowing that there probably will be a high ball or two?
Yeah, I think they just need to limit their errors. I was watching the last game against New Zealand, and I think New Zealand scored 4 of their tries just on turnovers. So Australia definitely need to limit the mistakes, and that's something South Africa are definitely going to try and exploit, especially with the kicking game. So I think limiting the errors is going to be key, and Australia don't really change their style of play, much like a lot of the teams at international level. They stick to their game plan. And I think it's just going to be a case of who deals with the pressure the best. I mean, it's game 3 for both teams in the Rugby Championship, the first of back-to-back matches against each other. So the first couple of minutes might just be sort of a feeling out process, and then the teams getting into their rhythm. But Australia definitely, one thing they really have to do is limit those errors against the Springboks on Sunday.
Yeah, the Boks up against Australia to reignite a beautiful old rivalry, that one kicking off at 5 minutes past 12. Let's turn to cricket now. I know we're up against Sri Lanka, but I think most focus on the World Cup squad announcements and Themba Bavuma being given the helm. And he's proved himself to be one of those kind of captains who does respond on the field of play. Rafiwe, I'll put this to you. Is Bavuma the man for the job? How are you feeling about this Proteas squad that's been announced going into the World Cup?
Hi there, and thank you so much for having me. I think Bavuma is definitely the man for this squad. He's proved himself over and over, and, you know, in spite of the fact that the Proteas haven't done so well losing the last ODI, I do think that what the Proteas need is to focus. So with Bavuma leading them into this, I think, you know, South Africa actually has a chance here, and the whole nation is obviously behind them. So he's the man for the job.
He is, and I love the fact that he seems to respond when he plays as well. That the weight of the captaincy doesn't seem to detract from his batting performance, which we definitely need. People saying Keshav Maharaj and Bjorn Fortuin, a bit of a surprise inclusion in the squad, but I think there's been a much stronger focus on the slow bowlers at the moment and how much of an impact they can play. I've got to say, do we think, Mike, that we've got the right balance in this Proteas team at the moment? Certainly our quicks seem to be able to hunt in packs, and that really works. It's the batting that generally has been our problem in recent times. How are you feeling about the overall makeup of that team?
Yeah, I think the surprise inclusion definitely is Keshav Maharaj. He hasn't really been involved in any kind of limited overs cricket for South Africa for quite a while. And throughout the whole cricketing summer up north, George Linder has been the left-arm spinner that we've used in T20s and 50-over games. He is part of the team as a travelling reserve. But I think that's probably one of the shocks of that team. And yes, I think getting the balance right with the batting is going to be key, especially in spinning conditions. The World Cup's going to be in Oman in the UAE. So it's going to be slow pitches, turning pitches, much like what South Africa are experiencing in Sri Lanka at the moment. And it's just about the batters adapting to it. South Africa have struggled against spin in the last couple of years. It has got better progressively. But I think in a major tournament on turning pitches, the batters really have to step up quite a lot.
The pressure is there. Let's quickly turn to the English Premier League. Rafiel, first of all, where does your allegiance lie? Who are you supporting, and what are you most excited about this upcoming return to English top-flight football?
Well, I support City, even though I'm wearing this red top. But honestly, this weekend, you would want to be a United fan. With the return of Cristiano Ronaldo, everyone is going to be watching the EPL. So, he's returning to United after 12 years of being, of his absence. And so, obviously, everyone will be watching United. What I do have to say is that for Arsenal supporters, I do have a box of tissues ready for them.
Oh, shots fired. Rafiel, you can stay, girl. Guys, so good to connect with you. We haven't even touched on Formula One returning to the iconic Monza track. But, of course, a bumper weekend of sport, whatever sporting code you're wanting to delve into. I'm going to ask Michael to stick around. Rafiel, we'll definitely connect with you again. Look forward to a big City game in the future. But wherever your allegiances lie at home, it is going to be a mouth-watering weekend of sport. Never forget, we are #StrongerTogether, the box up against Australia in the Rugby Championship on Sunday. Show a little pride, even if it is online. And we're going to look forward to a smooth performance right now from the Bokke, hopefully. I wish the same could be said about our dance moves.
Yeah, there's not a lot to be said about our dance moves. In fact, Uncle Tabzi and I were quite reluctant to do this, but it's okay, because this is like the Champions League of dancing.
It is.
Agreed.
And there's always a winner.
No, yes. There is definitely a winner. I can tell you that over the past couple of weeks, we've been trying to entertain you on a Friday. The entertainment probably has been working sometimes with a nice, smooth performance. Other times, not so smooth. And I think it's the not so smooth times that I would definitely want to take a look back at when it comes to the highlights of the Tropica Dance of Battles. I also want to bring in somebody who I admire as a dancer. Could Graham just please walk into... There we go. Just moonwalk in here. Look at that.
I mean, look at that, right? Always ready for it.
Yes, he's always... You have what it takes, my friend. What is your back? My back.
What happened this year? I turned into a dad. I know I really was a dad, but this year the dad switch just went like...
Exactly, like one of the vertebrae just like popped out.
I am like Goku on Dragon Ball Z. I've now gone to dad level 6.
Oh, man.
I'm Super Saiyan.
Super Saiyan, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean... Super Saiyan is what you could be calling some of these dance performances, and I can tell you that there are a few that are, not so Saiyan. But I want to start off with the first one. You know, Uncle Tubbs, I know that you have so many skills in your repertoire.
Yes.
But is the splits a skill? That is the question. Let's take a look.
20 seconds left.
Here we go.
There we go. Come on, 20 seconds left.
20 seconds. Finish your move. Finish your move.
Bring out
Shabale. Shabala.
Challenge me, man. Don't challenge me.
Come on. 8, 7, 6. Finish off strong. Finish off strong. Get low. Get low.
Sure.
Oh.
If you... Look here, by the way. Kids, if you'd like to pull a hamstring, ask Tabiso today. A message brought to you by Expresso. Right, Graham, you ready?
You got those feeling so well.
I think Carl's got a knee brace that you can borrow.
Dude, I got a few of them now.
I even spoke to our boss here on the show, and I asked about workman compensation for
Yes.
when you actually get injured on the job.
We choose to dance. We choose to dance on this show.
Okay, but the thing about Uncle Tabzi is that, you know, not only does he walk into branches, but he pulls hamstrings. It happens to the best of us, but well done. I think that was actually incredible. After successful hamstring surgery, Uncle Tabzi is going to make a full recovery, which is so good. But we do have a couple of other dance moves to share with you today, and there are a few others. Now, there is something that I'd like to show you, smooth splits, which is quite important. I want you to take a look at this. It's amazing, like when you watch something, then you can feel it too.
But it was the bounce. It was like the hip-hop bounce
Yes,
she did as well.
I was like, Aina! That's what I felt when I saw that. But
look,
that's the smooth way.
She's classically trained, as they say. She can dance, man. She can dance.
Yes, that's the thing. Okay, now, let's join the group of overachieving Tropica Smooth Dance Move Battle contestants. I'm just kidding. I would never call myself an overachiever.
You can do
but
it, man.
I've just been informed that they have a video of me. Why am I even involved in this? I'm a facilitator. Why would you do this?
Hey.
Why?
You can really dance.
Why?
Okay, but show us.
But you must just wait for the song to start.
Oh, we're waiting for the drop.
It
looks like the key just arrived.
Honestly, I love this song.
Yes. Yes.
I love it. I love it.
Hey, 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 hey. I see the moves. I'm full of movements. Love it.
I mean, do you even have a coccyx? Do you even... How do you...
I didn't know that was going to happen. I thought this is Uncle Tubbsy and Graham and a couple of others, but thank you very much for showing that.
Yeah,
It's
no.
fine. It's great how the people that you support and love.
And the joy of our
embarrass you.
job is you get to do this in front of famous people all
Yes,
the time,
that's Holly Ray was watching me. That's fine. But let's move over
Slade.
to something, because, you know, when it comes to shimming the shoulders, we have two contenders who are always having a proper jaw. When I say two, let's start with the first one. You know that Ryle, being a nature boy, moving his shoulders is in his nature.
Okay.
Is the shimmy.
You know,
I'm from Ukraine, so I'm going to bring it, darling. Oh, no.
Continue, come on now. Yes!
What's that one move they do that?
Yeah. Yes, 20 seconds, here we go. He has to give us your finishing.
I love how he talks you through the choreography as he's doing it. Brilliant.
It's because he's so focused. That's the great thing. And as you can see there, I mean, that's probably, it's a natural thing. But let's move on to somebody who I admire so much, a person who is so smooth with the dance moves, somebody who can really rock it when it comes to any sort of situation. Graham, with a sore back and a pulled something, does this. Take a look.
This is how I dance with a baby in my hand.
Yes, with a baby. Oh, that's multitasking. The new age dad in 2021.
No,
Shimmy,
this
shimmy.
one I'm
That's
throwing in for Ryle.
Oh, yes. Pectorals.
Oh, I love it. I love to see it. That's
Yeah.
just that. A round of chipmunk.
Chipmunk is good. There we go for it. Good. Yes. One.
Yeah.
Done. Oh, yes.
It really is a mashup of every dance move you can think of.
There
I
was some
told you, the
moves that
dad,
were...
dad switch has been flicked, man, at some point. Imagine how embarrassed my poor children are going to be.
But you got range.
'Cause
Yeah,
that's,
you
that's
do.
all I
You
got
have
coming for
variety,
me.
eh?
It comes with age, is you have a body of experience.
Now, essentially, you are all the Tropica flavors. Like,
Exactly. You can pick a
dance moves.
decade
Makes-
and you can draw from that.
Okay, that was sensational, but the thing is, you have to be the judge no matter what happens. So, I mean, we hope you enjoyed these highlights as much as we did, and tell us who you think should once and for all be crowned as a Tropica Smooth Dance-Off Battle Champion, presenter edition. And safe to say, no matter what smooth or not smooth team you're on, when it comes to moves on the dance floor, all you need is a sip of Tropica. Just look at Uncle Tabsy.
Yeah, that's it.
Surprised you not finished it yet. Nobody
To impress a gorgeous lifeguard, Marlon decides to catch a huge wave. Smooth. But the wave dumps it. Not smooth. Luckily, he's where he wants to be, in the arms of the lifeguard. Nothing smoother. Tropica.
Made with love by Clover. Only you can make my day.
$1.1 million.
Oh, wow.
Oh, fucking
Wow. Oh, wow. 1.1.
I'm doing some karate demo and just some questions on karate that I'm answering.
So let's go
We're
again.
doing a bit of an interactive.
Here we go.
Awesome, man.
I guess you're sounding
The man.
There. Iris!
Nourish your skin with Ingram's for Men, enriched with triple glycerine. For 48-hour moisture and no stickiness. Ingram's, your skin, your brave.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. As we delve back into sport, a review of Team South Africa's performance at the Tokyo Paralympics after winning 7 medals and breaking 3 records. Now, despite their achievement, South Africa won less medals than the previous games, registering their joint lowest medal haul to date, but we did send only a small contingent. The Department of Sport, Art and Culture is set to pay out over 2 million rand to the athletes for their performances, which is fantastic news. Mike Pedro joins us once again to take us through what I think is a brilliant nod from the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture. Let's talk about the Paralympics in general just quickly. We sent a small contingent and they did well. How are you feeling about our performance? Should we see this as a win or a below par performance?
I think we should see this definitely as a win. I mean, over the course of the Olympics, I think it's fair to say that South African athletes disappointed a little bit at the Olympic Games. So off the back of that, to have 7 medals, a couple of world records, 4 gold medals as well in the Paralympics, I think it's definitely a step up and it's something to be celebrated. I mean, as you rightly said, I think we only sent 34 athletes to the Paralympics this year. Which is a lot smaller than previous years, and still got close to 10 medals, a couple of golds, world records. Ntando Mahlangu was definitely the standout. 19 years old. I actually spoke to him before he participated in his first event, and now that he's back in South Africa, he's about to write his matric prelims. So that's a little bit of a way to get yourself back down to earth after winning gold and breaking world records, come back and start writing exams like other normal people. But yeah, I think the para-athletes did a fantastic job in Tokyo.
Well,
and
let's
hopefully they can build on that for the next games as well.
Yeah, well, they're going to be given the opportunity in the individual right to certainly build on their success with some pretty impressive prize money being pocketed. Let's start with Ntando. He is going to pocket 1.08 million rand. That is life-changing.
Yeah, I mean, for a 19-year-old, that is something special. For anyone, really, that's something special. But for someone who hasn't even hit 20 yet, who, like I say, is still busy writing his matric exams, that's a very nice way to end off what has been a pretty tough year for everybody. and for the athletes as well. I mean, trying to train and get in the requisite amount of training that they would need to prepare for these games hasn't been easy. So for them to go out and perform the way they did is absolutely amazing, and rightly so, are being handsomely rewarded for their efforts.
And finally, being rewarded for her efforts, I think she has had 4 medals going into this Games, and she did it again. Renee Veyers got gold, finally getting a reward for all of the hard work that she has put into her sport, her discipline. A brilliant performance.
Yeah, I mean, she went into that 400 meters as the favorite, as the world record holder, but never having won a Paralympic gold medal. So there was still that little chip on her shoulder, perhaps, having won 4 medals in the past and none of them being gold. But I think her performance in that 400 meters just showed her determination and showed how much she wanted that gold medal. And credit to her, it's not easy to suffer setbacks and bounce back and perform the way that she did. So I think she was suffering with COVID before the Games as well. So the fact that she overcame that to go and win gold in Tokyo is even more impressive.
Yeah, completely. And she also gets to pocket a cool 450,000 Rand. And her coach, Suzanne Ferreira, also gets 250,000 Rand, which is going to help them in their campaign moving forward. Ernst van Dijk, we are so used to saying his name when we talk about cycling. Obviously, he didn't really achieve in the way that he would. He would have felt that he was at least a shoo-in for a medal, but he hasn't ruled out another opportunity to get out there on the Games. I think it'll be a 9th Games for him, which is mind-blowing. But we saw a couple of people really announce their name on that stage, and Peter du Preez definitely put his name down.
Yeah, I think if you're looking for someone to sort of take the reins from Ernst, as you mentioned, there's someone who has been at so many Olympic Games, so many World Championships, won so many medals for South Africa in the hand cycling discipline. And you're looking for someone who's going to take over, and Peter du Preez looks to be that guy who's sort of stepped up. He won gold in the H1 time trial, pocketing 450,000 Rand as well for himself. And hopefully that's a sign of things to come. Like you say, there are a couple of athletes who might not be at the next Paralympics or the Paralympics after that. So now's the time where you're looking for people to sort of take over the reins and take up that mantle in specific disciplines. And I think Peter du Preez could definitely be one of those guys.
Be that guy. Lausanne Coetzee also pocketing 320,000 Rand for her efforts, a silver medal there. Cheryl James also getting 100,000 Rand for finishing 3rd, getting that bronze. Mpumelelo Mhlongo also pocketing 180,000 Rand. That really does fill me with pride, because it means our structures are in place, and we need to tip our hats to these athletes that are not professional. They don't get supported generally. They've got to do it themselves on their own steam, and this is a massive step forward. Mike, you're awesome, dude. I'm so glad that we've welcomed you to the team. I look forward to plugging into your big sporting brain a lot over the coming weeks. Thanks so much, and good luck this weekend. Enjoy all the English footy as that returns as well, but it's been awesome to have you join the team, my friend.
Thanks very much, Graham. Appreciate you guys having me and bringing me on. And hopefully, for your sake, Spurs can carry on their winning run, but I wouldn't hold my breath, eh?
And that's the last time that we'll be talking to Michael Pedro on this show. Great opportunity to delve into all of the sport, but also to look back over a very impressive performance from a small, but I think a Paralympic team filled with hope and promise for the future. That's got me excited.
Only you can make my day.
Welcome back to Feel Good Breakfast Show. This is Expresso on S3, and I'm super excited because usually you see us do the Expresso karaoke, but now we're doing the Expresso karate, which is very important because we're exploring Japan today, and we have Ian Orenson with us today, and we're broadening our horizons and seeking to understand different cultures across the world, and it's all about Japan, as mentioned. And we're joined by Ian Orenson, who's the chief instructor from the Shorinji Martial Arts and Fitness Center in Bergfried, to get a lesson in karate, which is something that I've always wanted to do in my life. Bucket list. Bidding ticked. Ian, welcome.
Good morning, Carl.
Good morning. I like how sort of calm you are. It's important. Does karate do that for you? Is it one of those things that calms you down and relaxes you?
Yeah, that is actually part of what it gives you. So it's, I think, the control. Control
and relaxation. So apparently you also do training for individuals, younger individuals, people my size, which is great. So that's also part of the, what you do and part of your sort of commitment to the community as well. So it's not all about just the adult tricks of the trade. It's also about teaching the young ones to grow up to be possibly champions in the future.
Yes.
That's great. What is the best part of your job?
Just sharing my knowledge. I've been doing it for a while, so it's actually just nice to share what I know with the adults and kids. Yeah, so it's.
Okay. And otherwise, out of all the martial arts, what is karate's sort of virtue out of the rest of them? What do you think is so special about it?
I think the values that you get out of it, like look at the level of respect.
Yes.
Control, like you say, being calm.
Yeah.
So I think those are actually all in our daily society, and that also with the stresses. I think it's a very good outlet.
That's great. Talking about outlets and, of course, your experience, I'd love to know what a class would be like for anybody who'd like to try and see what it's all about. Can we try something here? I know you've got a couple of your students. Sorry, I just want to make sure that I greet you guys. And how do you greet? I see that you're about to do a proper greeting. Show me that greeting there. There. Feet together, like that. And then you go. You bow. I like that. There we go. Over to you. I'd love to see a little couple of tricks here and there.
Okay, so we're just going to, they've all got different color belts on, so those are the different grades that you get, okay. Some of the different grades you get, and then we're just going to run through some basics. So you have basic punches and basic blocks, and so what we're going to do is just to demonstrate the different blocks.
Yes.
And you've got 3 different levels. So you've got the head, the chest, and the lower body, which in Japanese is called Jodan, Chudan, and Gedan.
Yes.
So we're just going to do a basic punch. So we put the left hand up. So we're standing in a stance called Furudachi. So we've got the left hand up, so our feet are next to each other, and we're standing in Furudachi. So from here, we're just going to do Chokozuki, which is a basic punch. So we're punching towards the chest. So we go, so I'll be counting in Japanese. So we go, ich, ni, san, chi, go, rok, sech, hach, gu, ju. Okay, so we're punching to the head.
So you
So the front
when
hands,
you punch, I see you're starting over here, this level over here.
Yeah, the front hand's palm is down, the hand on the sides, palm is up.
Okay.
So when you're switching, then it's changing.
Like this?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I could do that. You want to do one of those rounds with me now? Now I'm very excited. I want to join the guys. Okay, are we ready?
We go 10 of those. We go ich, ni, san, chi, go, rok, sich, hach, gu, ju. Okay, so from here, we got the 3 levels, which I said is Jodan, Chudan, and Gedan. So we're going to do a punch to the head. So we're going a Jodan punch. We go ich, ni, san.
Ooh, that's nice and complicated. I like that. Let's do it again.
So we go to the head. We go ich.
So we're going up there. All right. So that's Okay.
Chest, knee, and lower body, san.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, so when
there's a lot of flow to it as well. I can feel that, on a biomechanical level. It's got a good flow.
Okay, so just those are the 3 level punches. So you'll get the blocks to defend yourself from those. So if you were punching to my head, I'd put my arm underneath and I'd block to protect my head that way.
Ah, just up.
So that is a head block.
And I always see that the inactive hand is always primed to do the next attack or the next move, which is actually quite beautiful. I see that a lot in martial arts, things flows.
Yeah, so once you've done the block, then you've actually got your other hand geared for either your next counter attack or defense attack.
Brilliant. You want to up the ante, coach? Let's do something else. Let's see how fast these guys can go. Have you done that?
Okay, so let's put the left hand up again.
Oh, okay. Let me see how this goes.
So nice and fast. Let's do it. Ready? Here we go. Chest punches, Chokozuki. Ready? We go. Ich. Okay. Ni. San. Chi. Go. Okay, 5 more. Let's give me a key on it. Ready? We go. Ich. Ni. San. Chi. Go. Rok. Sich. Hach. Go. Chu. Okay, Last two, double punch. Let's kia. Ready, we go. Ish! Kia! Ni! Kia! San! Kia! Chi! Kia! Go!
That is...
Nice. Back to Yoi.
Ooh! What is that? I heard that sound there. It was like there was expression there.
Okay, that is... Us is a... Us is an acknowledgement. So normally when you're greeting,
yes,
I'd bow and you'd say us, which is saying hello or saying goodbye, or acknowledgement. So when I'm telling you to do something, you'd say us. So you wouldn't say yes, you'd say us.
So us. Okay, this is great. Thank you, Ian, for that lesson. I think it was absolutely sensational and it's a beautiful art form. I wouldn't even call it a martial art. It is an art form. It's beautiful. So thanks a lot for everything. I just, or should I say arigato? Is that very important, though, for me saying
thank you very much. Domo arigato.
There we go. And also, I want to give you a proper bow. Thank you.
Us.
As you can see, there's your lesson. Obviously, don't try it at home against anybody. Try it sort of to the air. You don't hurt anybody at home, but that is karate here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, just to make sure that you start your weekend with a kick-butt type of attitude.
After all of that, you do need a cup of coffee. Let's talk about Japanese culture and their love for coffee. We know that their culture is so elegant, so sophisticated. And of course, it flows through everything that they do, including their food. Now, Japan is also known for its growing coffee culture. We're seeing it all over the world. And today, we're infusing some of that coffee love into a popular Japanese dessert. It's called the kohizeri. Even sounds like coffee, you know?
Coffee, yeah.
Coffee. If you think about it, it really, really does. G-Man, you've got your ingredients laid out here for the kohi.
This is interesting and it's delicious. So I'm going to ask you to whip up 3 espressos if you can for our mix. So we've got
3 shots.
There is a time element involved here because we need a portion. You see our beautiful little jelly squares. We need those to set in the fridge. So that you're going to have to prepare. So you can make me a shot of coffee and I'm going to get. So we've got our caster sugar going into, and this is hot water but not boiling, because if you put the gelatin in boiling water, it's not going to set, I'm told. So we have pre-bloomed our gelatin just a little bit to help it dissolve a bit more easily. And then I'm gonna
just mix all of that.
Let those start to dissolve, and then you can gooi me our coffees.
First espresso.
Thank you. And we're using our Tokyo Vivalto, which is beautiful. Lovely floral notes. It's actually, it is absolutely stunning.
It is so good. Well, I'll tell you,
stunning coffee, and you can have it.
It's a Vivalto Lungo, but it's also a 100% Arabica blend with high-quality African beans that you really do get to taste when you take that up. And of course, you can make that in a Lungo coffee, which is 110 mils. The taste profile of this, it's mild, but it's also got that mild body, that mild roastiness, the slight bitterness. It does come through with that low acidity as well, which you really do appreciate when you're making something like this.
Yeah, especially with a longer coffee. I think if it's too potent and it's too acidic, or if it's too powerful in its flavor profile, it doesn't suit the Lungo. Yeah, so this is kind of a gentle middle of the road. Make me another, man.
Another one.
Crack on, buddy. I need 3. Yeah. So now my gelatin is starting to dissolve nicely. And again, I can't stress.
How long do you do that for? You have to
ideally, you just want to make sure that the gelatin's dissolved, I suppose, would be the key, which is coming along nicely. And also the sugar granules. You want it to be a nice kind of clean, clear mixture. You can swing that across. Because we're going to be popping it into a tray. I suppose you could even put it into an ice tray to have individual cubes. We're just going to put it in a little square dish like that.
Let's get you another one.
One more. And you want the coffee flavor really to sing out. This is quite sweet. This is very much a dessert.
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't say this is like your first morning cuppa. This is definitely something that you want to sip and enjoy that indulgence. And one last. And
so what do I do here? What have we got here? Condensed milk?
All right, so you can mix our milk together. So we've got condensed milk.
Going in here.
Going in there to mix it.
Okay.
We've got condensed milk, we've got milk, and we've got cream. Like I said,
that's so rich.
Indulgence, okay? This is sweet, but it's going to be beautiful because you're going to have that creaminess, and then gradually the coffee is going to permeate through that. We're using full cream and then our milk. It looks like almost in equal measures.
Right.
And you can whisk that guy together. I'll give it a
You do
whisk.
it. You do it. You know I'm better at that.
Oh, yummy.
Looks so good. I mean, it's
going to be
rich.
beautiful.
It's so creamy. I love that.
And then what I'm going to ask you to do is put, I would say, about halfway with our beautiful little cubes.
These
I'm dying to just eat one of those cubes and taste it, man.
Me too. Okay.
Maybe a bit more, come on, for dramatic effect. I think that looks good. Okay.
So you just get that in
We're gonna
there.
top that up, and
This is so
look how
unique.
beautiful that
I've never seen
is.
anything like it. Look at that.
Oh, that's exciting.
Right.
And then you, my friend, are going to have a
Thank
taste.
you.
You've
Thank
got
you.
a
I'll
taste.
tell you now
and-
what I think.
But you've got to, I don't know if you, do you slurp in one of the coffee cubes? How are you going to, nice.
Well, that's how you do it, right?
Get one of the coffee cubes in there, and then this now is fully dissolved. So what I would do with this is just pour it either into a kind of an ice tray or something like this, pop it in the fridge, and let the gelatin set completely. And
I love it. This tastes really good and really is indulgent. Indulgent.
I just want to taste one of these coffee things, man.
If you want the recipe, we've made this super simple for you. Go onto our website, expressoshow.com, and of course, you will find all the ingredients listed there, as well as how to bring this to life. Cheers.
That's yummy.
Okay.
Cheers, man. Delicious.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Maynard's, it's a juicy kaboom!
It's a juicy kaboom!
Voila! That's it. It's important to do
We
that.
love it, man. We're going to kaboom you right into the weekend right now. Mzansi, listen up, because by now you must know that Maynard's, home of the hashtag Juicy Kaboom, is celebrating their range of mouth-watering fruity gums and jellies with you by hosting an epic competition. We get to call a very lucky viewer every Friday for the next 6 weeks to play the hashtag Juicy Kaboom game.
It's a juicy kaboom!
That's it.
Wow.
Finally. You did it 3 times, and the 3rd time you got it lucky.
It's
That's
like
the best
Candyman.
thing.
It's like
It
Candyman.
is.
You got to say it 3 times, and then you get hit by the juicy kaboom. But that lucky viewer that we connect with that gets to play this game through us as the conduit, the throwing conduit,
Yes.
could win up to 3,000 rand.
It's the best, but the only thing for us is that there are booby traps. And that's where things get a bit more complicated, but we're going to have to get into that in the next couple of moments. But this week, we actually asked you to comment by sharing which Maynard sweets are your favorite. And somebody very special by the name of Iris Lowe had this to say. Maynard's wine gum duos are my favorite sweets.
I hear you.
With double the taste, double the fun. It's definitely a juicy kaboom!
It's a juicy kaboom!
See, it worked for me on try number
First
one.
try.
Flavor
Yeah.
explosion in my mouth. That was fantastic. Thank you, Iris. And of course, we have Iris on the line, and we're ready for her to win a massive cash prize up to 3,000 Rand. So, hello, Iris.
Hi, good morning.
Good. Oh, you know what, Iris? You look like a juicy kaboom.
It's a juicy kaboom!
Yes, you do.
Makes you feel powerful, hey? It
does.
Iris, congratulations for making it this far. We are going to be taking the dull out of your everyday morning with a juicy kaboom burst of flavor by showing you how exactly the game is going to work. Okay. So you are going to, obviously, right now, live on air, select a presenter, either myself or Carl, to play the Maynard's hashtag Juicy Kaboom game in studio.
Exactly. So the next thing is that you also need to tell, you know, which one of us, whichever one you choose, which bucket we should be aiming for. It's as simple as that. In order to win a prize, obviously in your mind you're thinking about 3,000 Rand. I completely understand that. We will do the best we can, whichever one you choose.
We will certainly do our best. We're going to then obviously take our turns throwing the ball into the bucket in order to secure a cash prize, hopefully for you to enjoy the best ever weekend.
And either one of us will keep on throwing the ball until it lands in a bucket, but there are some tricks, little curveballs as well.
So if it lands in a bucket, obviously you win that prize. If it's a booby trap, dun. And then our studio team will decide. Don't worry, you will still walk away with something.
Yes, you do, because you stand a chance to win one of the following prizes: 500 bucks, 1,500 Rand, or that big one, 3,000 Rand, or even a Maynard's hamper.
Yeah, which is good, man. It's great. And obviously, if we get the ball in that booby trap bucket without a monetary value, then you will still receive a Maynard's hamper. So you really don't walk away at all, and then we will have to do a forfeit, like a push-up or a song or something along those lines.
Okay, well,
let's hope that we don't do that. Okay, so Iris, the big question is, after all of that preamble, who do you want to be throwing your balls today? Do you want Carl or myself? I've never missed, incidentally. Carl is closer to the bucket.
So you're picking me?
I'm picking you. We're not going to let you down.
Okay, I'm not going to let you down.
I'm a little bit hurt, Iris. I'm a little bit hurt, but I still love you, and I'm still hoping that you win 3,000 Rand.
Okay, which bucket would you like me to throw the ball in?
Which bucket?
Yes.
Let's try and aim for 3,000 Rand.
Okay, 3,000 Rand sounds good to me.
100%, girl.
I'm going to go to my spot now.
Oh, buddy, which one are you going to go for?
I'm going to go for
there's a
3,000
here and there's a 3,000 there.
Indeed there is. I'm going to try my best. Okay, I'll do what I can. Iris, I got your back. Are we ready? Okay, let's go.
You can do this.
So I can. I'm going to try my best. But I'm totally going to
Iris,
do...
luckily, he's a lot lower to the ground, so he's closer to the bucket effectively,
I am.
which should help.
Okay, let's try. Let's try. I'm going to go for it.
Go
This
overhand.
Is for you. This is for you,
Now
Iris.
he's going for an overhand technique.
Ooh, it's almost there.
Oh!
Iris. It's coming through.
Oh! So close! Oh!
It's in and out. And here we go.
Oh!
In and out. It's going to happen now.
Is it impossible? Wait.
It's going to
So
happen.
I moved the bucket. Wait, I
Yes,
moved
you
the
did.
bucket.
Come on,
away.
don't
That
move
was
the
my
bucket
fault.
there, Graham.
Come on, Carl. I know you can do this. I know you can
It's
do
going to
this.
happen. And here it comes. This
I'm
is the
feeling
one.
it. I'm feeling it.
This
I'm
is the
feeling it.
one.
I'm feeling it.
It's happening.
Yes, Carl.
Almost there.
Come on, come on.
I think I just landed in one of those things. Checked out. Did it land anywhere?
1,500
Did I
Rand.
get it?
It's a juicy kaboom!
It's a juicy kaboom.
It's a juicy kaboom! Iris, congratulations!
It landed somewhere. Yes.
Wow, what a way to start your weekend.
I know you wanted 3,000.
Oh, that 3,000 was booby trapped. I bet you this was booby trapped.
It was, because, you know, it went in and out and in and out. I'm sorry, there's something about the 3,000, but you got 1,500 bucks, which is wonderful.
Oh, congratulations, Iris. You know what that is? That is a hashtag Juicy Kaboom!
It's a juicy kaboom!
Yes!
Oh, we love you. Keep enjoying those wine gums. You can buy a whole lot with 1,500 Rand. Congratulations, Iris. We're so glad that we could make your day, make your weekend. And remember to always make it juicy, make it fruity, and to make it a Maynard's hashtag. One more time.
It's a juicy
It's a juicy kaboom!
Maynard's. It's a juicy kaboom!
A juicy one indeed. Time for us to take a look at what's happening in and around our world. We start off here in South Africa, where Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana has said that the government was considering replacing the 350 Rand COVID-19 grant with another form of relief. He added, however, that it would all depend on affordability. He said this was aimed at trying to reduce the poverty gap. And meanwhile, Statistics South Africa yesterday said a person in South Africa now needs to have at least 624 Rands per month to meet the minimum required daily energy intake. Staying in South Africa, the National Institute for Communicable Diseases last night said that there was a sustained downward trend in the current coronavirus surge countrywide. This as 6,270 new COVID-19 cases and 175 deaths were recorded in the past 24 hours. Earlier, the South African Football Association, that SAFA, said it would hand out free tickets to vaccinated football fans attending next month's World Cup qualifier between the national team Bafana and Ethiopia. It said fans who had been jabbed would be prioritized at matches and other entertainment events. In international news, Cricket Australia will cancel its men's test match with Afghanistan if reports that the women's team cannot play under Taliban rule are true. On Wednesday, the International Cricket Council said it was concerned by Taliban Cultural Commission Deputy Head Ahmadullah Wasiq's comments. Wasiq told an Australian broadcaster that he didn't think that women should be allowed to play cricket. He said it's not necessary for women to play and that they may face a situation where their face or their body will not be covered. And he said Islam does not allow this. Meanwhile, an outbreak of meningitis has been declared, this in the northeastern region of the Democratic Republic of Congo. So far, more than 120 people have succumbed and more than 100 people are receiving treatment at home and in health facilities. The region is part of the so-called African meningitis belt that runs across the continent from Senegal to Ethiopia, covering 26 countries. And some of these regions are vulnerable to recurrent outbreaks, especially during the dry season from January to July. And next, famous patron and backing for Nigerian charity. In the last 5 years, you may have seen Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall, has established herself as one of Britain's most outspoken advocates for charities that address domestic violence. On Monday, she announced that her intention was to expand her work worldwide by becoming the patron of the Mirabel Center, a Nigerian charity that supports survivors of sexual assault and intimate partner violence. The Duchess said, and I quote, "The Mirabel Center in Lagos is a truly trailblazing organization supporting survivors of rape and sexual assault as they seek healing and justice. Their vital work means that women no longer need to suffer in silence." Mirabel, Nigeria's first sexual assault referral organization, was founded in 2013 by Itoro Ezi Anaba, who was honored by the Nigerian government last month for her work defending women and children. Ezi Anaba said that she is very much looking forward to working with Camilla on the issue, and that's great trailblazing work indeed. That's where we leave it for now. Here's Graham with a look at what's happening in sports.
Thank you so much, Tubbs. Let's start with cricket. Themba Bavuma will lead the Proteas in the 7th edition of the T20 World Cup, taking place in the UAE and Oman next month. It'll be his first major world event at the helm since his permanent appointment earlier this year. Keshav Maharaj and Bjorn Fontaine are perhaps the surprise inclusions, with Andile Petlakwayo, George Linde and Lazard Williams named as travelling reserves. South Africa will get their World Cup campaign underway against old foes Australia on the 23rd of October. On to cricket. The Proteas women will be hoping to build on their 8-wicket win over the West Indies in the first ODI when the second of 5 matches gets underway at 4 p.m. this afternoon. The convincing win in the opening game of the series was set up by a brilliant 91 from one of the best players in the world at the moment, Lizelle Lee, at the top of the order. Before that, Ayabonga Kaka, Tumi Sekokune and Dane van Niekerk all taking 2 wickets apiece as the hosts were dismissed for just 153. Then high-stakes rugby locally, as the Sharks head coach Sean Everett has opted for continuity and consistency in terms of his team selection for the Currie Cup final against the Bulls tomorrow. Springbok front rower Thomas du Toit has been named in that starting lineup, with Pepsi Buthelezi once again captaining the side. The Sharks won the previous meeting between the sides last month, 35-28, one of the few teams to beat the Bulls, in fact, and they booked a spot in that final after beating a spirited Griquas outfit 28-24 in their semis. Then on to football. The English top flight is back after the international break with a full roster of fixtures to look forward to. So the standout game will undoubtedly be between Leicester and Man City, probably tomorrow. Then all eyes will be on Man United, though, as Cristiano Ronaldo could potentially make his second debut when the Red Devils take on the Geordie Army. Newcastle and Arsenal, I think with their backs definitely up against the wall, certainly Mikel Arteta, they'll be hoping for their first win of the campaign when they take on Norwich. And then on Sunday, the only game is Liverpool travelling to Leeds. If you missed any of those details, we'll touch on them again in an hour or so. Right now, let's set the tone for the weekend and the day with those temperatures.
Thanks a lot, G. Let's take a look. And with recent devastating earthquakes in Haiti, still a vivid memory, and the 7.2 magnitude quake 2 days ago that was near Acapulco in Mexico, the focus this morning shifts to earthquakes in Japan. Now, the Japanese archipelago is located in an area where several continental and oceanic plates meet, causing frequent earthquakes across Japan. Now, this area is known as the Ring of Fire, and if earthquakes occur under or close to the ocean, they usually trigger a tsunami. In fact, Japan is prone to quakes that in the past 7 days, the country experienced 34 during the past 30 days and 604 in the past 365 days. In March 2011, the strongest ever recorded earthquake in Japan, a magnitude 9, triggered a massive tsunami along Japan's Pacific coast, known as the Great East Japan Earthquake. The quake, and particularly the ensuing tsunami, claimed some 20,000 lives and caused a nuclear accident at a power plant in Fukushima Prefecture. This tragic event was commemorated during the recent Olympic Games in Tokyo. Now, we can't explore another country without finding out about the landscape and geography too, so we thought we would spruce it up a little bit this morning with some facts about Japan. Now, did you know that Japan can experience up to 1,500 earthquakes annually? In fact, the frequency of the earthquakes is attributed to the location of the country across the tectonic plates, and this is called, as mentioned, the Pacific Ring of Fire. Now, all buildings in Japan are required to have an earthquake-resistant structure, such as a shock absorber, essentially to be able to withstand an earthquake. The structure has to absorb all the energy from the earthquake. Now, back on our own shores, we have some more beautiful sunrise photos to share with you, and thanks a lot to our fantastic viewers. You are becoming the best photographers that I know. Now, Marius Wessels from Joburg shared this brilliant and bright silhouetted image as the sun comes up in the distance, and then Martha Brink from Kalbaskraal in the Western Cape shared a similar image filled with hues of orange and yellow as the sun comes up. It is getting a little warmer, and those sunrises are going to get a little bit more beautiful, so please send them my way on the Expresso Facebook page as we get into some of your temperatures across the country. Let's start you off in Polokwane. 6 is your minimum there today, and you're going to jump up to 22 later. Bompela, you'll experience 10 degrees Celsius this morning as you rise steadily to 23. Pretoria, 9 to 25. There is a low expected of 9 in Johannesburg today. 23 is where you top. Mahikeng, 12 to 26. Klerksdorp, feeling nice and warm. 28 degrees Celsius, the max, from a minimum of 9 degrees Celsius. Kimberley, 14, and you're up to 29 later. Bloemfontein, 8 to 27. Richards Bay, 16, rising to 23 with a 25% chance of rain. Pietermaritzburg, 13 to 28 today. Durban, 17 to 25. Mthatha, quite a warm 31 degrees Celsius this afternoon from a low of 13. East London, 17 up to 30. Cradock, 14 to the top temperature, 34 degrees Celsius. Gqeberha, 13 to 30. George, 25 is your maximum from a minimum of 11. Cape Town, same minimum, 11. You rise to 19. Worcester, 11 to 28. Southern, 24 is your max from a minimum of 11. And then Uppington, 18 to a high of 33 degrees Celsius. No matter what type of day you have, I'm so glad you're starting with the Feel Good Breakfast Show as we explore more around the culture and language of Japan.
Yeah,
yes,
lots to explore.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a deep dive into the exquisite culture of Japan in just a moment. It certainly sparks my imagination.
Yeah.
There is just so much history there, and it is completely unique, which gets me so excited. But, of course, having a little bit of fun this morning, we put it to you guys on social media. If you could be any anime character, who would you be and why? I absolutely love anime.
Who would you be?
Definitely Goku from Dragon Ball Z. There we go.
Yeah.
Just to have the ability to level up. up
And
constantly.
Super Saiyan
Yeah,
yourself
man, because
all the
they're
time.
those days where you're just so frustrated. You just want to be able to like...
And be off. Let's see what you guys have said on social media. Your comments have come through. Jane Mukwena says, Naruto. Even though he had the kind of power that could rule or even destroy, he still chose to use peace.
I love that. Definitely
Naruto.
Vegeta from Vincent. I love his humor and personality. I love his lingering, smoldering stares. He's always so angry.
And then Safuza says, Ben 10. Oh, wow.
That's loaded.
But-
Yeah, that's a loaded
okay,
response.
well,
Okay.
well, that's that then.
We're going to just...
Ben 10. Pikachu. I was actually hoping someone would say that
Isn't
they
that
would
Carl,
pick to be like Pikachu. Isn't
that Carl?
That is
Carl
I mean,
Pikachu?
He is.
I think he took that.
Kamsley.
Kamsley van Heerden saying Itachi.
Oh, nice.
I don't know which anime that comes from. Maggie, Goku. He saved the planet Earth.
And then Doomy also said Gohan. Please don't forget Gohan. Oh, man, God takes me back.
I love it, man. No, I used to race home to watch Dragon Ball Z, but there is an abundance of amazing Japanese anime, the most beautiful cinematic experiences out there. So do yourself a favor, do a bit of a deep dive this weekend as part of our cultural celebration of Japan. But we're going to continue that right now. We're going to delve a little deeper into this exquisite and very unique culture. Stick around.
Open 10.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome as we continue our exploration and celebration of the culture of Japan this morning. It really has been an eye-opener, and it is something that I'm certainly so interested in, especially when it comes to the nuance of the language. The language of Japanese is absolutely fascinating. It's unrelated to any other language in the world. Using more than one writing system, it's a multifaceted language that carries so many characteristics of new Japanese people and how they express themselves, and it's spoken by more than 127 million people. Now, joining us today as we celebrate Japanese culture is the Consul of Japan in Cape Town, Mr. Jiro Nishimura, to teach us a few things about the Japanese language and hopefully a few key phrases. I didn't get to go to the Olympics. I wish I did, but I am hoping that these will stand me in good stead. But first of all, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us this morning. It really has been a pleasure delving into Japanese culture, which for me is so unique. It really is so special. I'm going to start with the Japanese grammatical system. It focuses on expressing politeness and formality. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Okay. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude that you will give me the chance to introduce Japanese culture to it. And back to your question, and to express the politeness to the partner is san. I mean that we will add the san at the end of the name. For Greg-san, for example, for Gregson. And with that, we can express our politeness. And it is very useful because we can use it for men and for women and for elder people and for young people equally.
I love that, and that's something I think within South African culture there is a huge expression of respect for our elders in that space, but I love the fact that that's interwoven into the very grammatical system. Now, as I understand it, you use 3 different writing systems. kanji, hiragana, and katakana. How did this develop? How did you end up with 3 different writing systems?
Yes, at first we the kanji, it came from the old China, and we developed also this systems, and the kanji itself has the meaning. So if you can read books very quickly, then you can pick up just only kanji, and then you can read very quickly. Yes, and from kanji, we developed also hiragana and katakana. And katakana, with that, we express the things or ideas which come from foreign countries.
Okay.
For example, for ice cream or something, we will express it in kanji. And also hiragana, then we phrase it in Japanese, and it sounds very Japanese.
Okay, so it's layers on layers. I absolutely love that. All right, I'm hoping that you can teach me a couple of phrases, because I am desperate at some point in my life to get to Japan and experience the culture firsthand. So I'm going to ask you a few phrases, and hopefully you can help me with the pronunciation of them. And please forgive my pronunciation if I absolutely butcher them. But let's start with good morning. How do I pronounce good morning?
Ohayo.
Ohayo. Ohayo. I love that. Ohayo. And then I've got gozaimasu.
Yes, more polite expression. So ohayo gozaimasu is more polite. Yes.
And when would I use the more polite expression? If I was meeting someone in a work environment, when would I need to be more polite?
Yes, if you are in casual situation, then you can just say the ohayo. But if you meet your elder people or something, then you will use ohayo gozaimasu together.
Gozaimasu, I love that. Yes. Now I need to introduce myself. Hello, my name is Graham.
私の名前は、こんにちは。私の名前はグレッグです。
Konnichiwa. Watashi no namae wa Graham desu.
私の名前はグラムです。
Des. I love that. Now we're going to do a bit of French and English. How do we say before a meal? Bon appétit.
Itadakimasu.
Itadakimasu. So I notice when it's spelled with a U, masu, do you just say mas? You don't say the U?
Yes.
You kind of swallow the U. And then this one, we know thank you. Arigato.
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 Yes.
Arigato.
Yes. Arigato.
And then I'm not saying goodbye to you. We're going to bring you back on. But how do I say goodbye?
Sayonara.
Sayonara.
Yes.
Sayonara. We're going to... No, don't go. We're not leaving just yet. What an absolute pleasure hosting you this morning. I'm going to ask you to stay because we've got more cultural items that I'm sure you are very proud of to explore in just a moment. And hopefully you've picked up a couple of phrases. Maybe there's some of our Paralympians or our Olympic athletes that are watching right now that already know these phrases, but we are loving this deep dive into Japanese culture, and we're going to continue to do that all morning. Stick around.
It is a Japanese extravaganza this morning here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Now, it may have been a long week for so many of us out there. It's time for us to take that moment to yourself. Make yourself a cup of tea, make yourself a cup of coffee, stir up to cheer up with Creamel. How's that? More than just a creamer for your tea and your coffee, it's also such a versatile element to use in various dishes. Now, keeping with our Japanese theme today, we are showing you how Creamel will transform the flavors of our Shibuya honey toast with a decadent Creamel caramel sauce. Perfect with a cup of something. Kawasty,
Oh, yeah.
tasty. You're about to make something really tasty.
I am going to do my best. I know that we were all inspired by Japan today. There are such rich cultures and also these incredible desserts. Now, this dessert that we're going to do, Shibuya toast, is obviously from the Shibuya region in Japan. Apparently developed during the acid price bubble, so they needed something that's a bit more low cost, but at the same time making it a little bit more elevated.
Genius.
And I mean, bread, honey, it makes just a lot of sense. So I want to actually add Creamel to this to make it a bit more luxurious.
Yes.
And a bit of caramel sauce as we go along. So this is pretty much how it works. I'm going to take some just nice warm water and I want to mix my Creamel first before I go anywhere. I'm going to use about 3 tablespoons of Creamel in this recipe just to make sure that we...
You get the richness, the thickness that we're looking for.
That's the thing, because I mean, we could do it the normal sort of traditional way, but at the same time, we can also just kind of, you know, make it up as we go along and make sure that it's even more delicious.
You want it decadent, right?
Exactly, and that's the
now
last
here's a
thing.
tip, is that you simply can mix your clover cremel with a dash of water, for example, to add that creamy texture, which is what we are looking for when it comes to our sauces. Now, clover cremel is the only creamer with real milk powder. How's that? It's especially to give you that creamier taste which you want to get. And the Shibuya,
Indeed.
it really is a popular treat in Japan. Very much like a South African kota or banichao. Honestly, this treat takes a sweet spin on a local favorite. I love that.
So what I'll do is I've got this mixed together, 3 tablespoons into some warm water, and I'm going to pour it into my saucepan.
Nice.
And we're going to get that up to a little bit of a boil. And then, of course, what we're going to do is we're going to get our caramel sauce. We've got about like half a tin over here. You can use a full tin if you want to. And I'm just going to pop it in there. And we're just going to get those all incorporated. As the heat comes up, the caramel will incorporate into the
so you want that boiling ultimately.
Yes, you actually want it sort of like onto a simmer, but the whole idea is to get the liquid warm enough to make sure that the caramel mixes through. So now we wait for that. I'm going to put all of this in here because I'm in the mood for a bit of a Friday.
Don't be shy.
I'm in the mood for a Friday vibe, so I'm going to make it a bit more sexy. While I wait for that, I need you to do something for me as well.
Okay, what can I do? What do you want me to do?
The thing is, you are going to be dressing our Shibuya.
Oh, that's easy
honey
enough.
toast. Okay, we're going to do is, so what I'll do is I'll get some honey, and I've got some melted butter as well. Okay. And of course, we want that melted butter. We want it nice and warm too, because remember, the honey needs to now incorporate into that. So there's a lot of unctuousness going on.
I love that.
You understand what I mean?
It's gonna burn really nice.
There's a lot of unctuousness going on, and I want to make sure that that's all incorporated and making sure that we're gonna, because you are gonna be painting the bread,
just giving it a paste.
Yes, that's the thing. And I mean, this is it's such an easy recipe. It's very, very cool to follow. It's very, very sort of, I mean, it may look very humble and simple, but we are going to make it extra sexy.
We're elevating it.
Yes, we are. I mean, I'm talking about edible flowers. I'm talking about using any fruit that you'd like. I'm thinking about, you know, I'm thinking about blueberries as well.
Yes.
You know, anything that you think that is like really, really exciting on the plate, I think throw it on there. Why not?
Look at you giving this to us with all of this confidence, so much flair you're adding here. Okay, cool. I think that's ready to go now. So all I need to do...
I want you to brush it,
is just to brush this over or on.
And then what I'll need to do is I'm going to incorporate that, get the heat up a little bit more, and then we're going to be incorporating, because that's the whole idea.
Is it not just quicker to dip like the bread?
You can dip if you want to.
I think that'll be quicker, right?
You can dip.
But also, it ensures that you get a whole lot of this.
So, you know, you're obviously dipping now, but you do realize that I have to make sure that this sauce is going to be soaking the bread, you know, but that's fine.
You don't want too much of that. No?
It's okay.
Am I doing it wrong?
No, it's
Why
okay.
are you pulling faces of
sure that...
no confidence there? What's happening
I love the confidence. It's important, though. Our caramel sauce is looking so gorgeous, actually. It's incorporated so beautifully. So what I was actually trying to tell you now is that, you know, that bread has to soak in this beautiful sauce as well.
Yes, as well.
This is lovely.
Oh, okay.
Yes, indeed.
So we have
it
to
does.
wait for
It's going to have to soak. But it's okay. I like the fact that you're eager. That's important.
Yeah, and I'm generous.
We're going to brush on that honey mixture after we soak it in. But the thing is, I think it's a nice thing that you and I can play around in the kitchen.
Yes.
And this is essentially what you do at home. You play around, you have fun, which is always fantastic.
I love that.
So, Cara, this sauce is... It's done.
It's looking good. I can smell it.
How beautiful is it? Can you smell that sauce?
Yes.
And you know what? I like the color of it because now it's incorporated into the cremel, and that's what I really enjoy about it. So what you're going to do is once you've dressed your bread, your Shibuya toast, you're going to go into the oven. You're going to go about 10 to 15 minutes or until brown. And then you have that thing ready to serve. And then, of course, when I told you we're going to elevate it beautifully.
Yes, look at that.
Over here, we decided to serve it with a bit of the sauce that we made. We've got the honey toast that you've brushed beautifully. You've got the ice cream that you've served it with. You've got the edible. And let me just tell you now, this is what we're going to do.
Look at that.
I just want to pour it on there, and I want to make sure that you know how gorgeous that can be for you and your familia.
And you can get this recipe on expressoshow.com if you missed any of the steps here. Now, listen, we want to hear from you. Tell us on the socials how you would use cremel to stir up and cheer up. And we could be sending you a hamper so that you can stir up and cheer up even more. That looks really, really good.
It does look good, doesn't it?
We're going to serve that to our guests.
We have to serve to as many guests as possible. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, well, I suppose.
Expressoshow.com. Grab this recipe. It's simple, it's beautiful. And I think you should try it this weekend.
It's a knockout.
There is a classic mayonnaise that brings out the traditional French in 3 levels of tanginess. The mild classic, the medium classic, the strong classic. Tangy the way you love it.
Made with love by Clover. Oh, you can make my day.
Nourish your skin with Ingram's tissue oil and rich body care range for 48-hour rich moisture. Ingram's, your skin, your brave.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You are live with Expresso. If I look like a kid in a candy store, it's because my mind has been blown this morning, delving into the culture of Japan. It is so nuanced. There are so many wonderful areas to delve into and really celebrate. And we're now going to move to one that I think maybe confuses quite a few people. The intricate and delicate kimono, which represents good fortune, is instantly recognizable, I think, as traditional Japanese attire. Yet many people may confuse the formal kimono with the more informal yukata, worn by both men and women. Both styles are equally stunning, and we're about to learn a little bit more as Consul Jiro Nishimura joins us again, and this time along with his wife, Mrs. Junko Nishimura. Welcome once again to both of you. Consul Nishimura-san, what is the kimono traditionally made from?
Gramson, the kimono made from silk, in principle.
It's absolutely stunning. The designs are beautiful, and obviously it's a part of Japanese. The brand of Japan is very much displayed through this. What are the main differences between the kimono and the yukata? I know, Mrs. Nishimura, your English isn't very strong, but I don't know if you want to answer that. What is the difference between the kimono and the yukata?
僕が答えた方がいいですか? So, she just shy to speak in English, so I replied to the question. So, kimono is more formal attitude or garment, and yukata is rather the informal garment, and we can't perhaps use the yukata in formal occasions for the ceremony or something like that.
Okay. How, because I would imagine that the styles have been updated as much as Japanese culture deeps into and leans on its history. It's also very progressive. How has the design of the kimono and the yukata changed and developed, do you think?
Yes, it's difficult to say, but the pattern is just changing with time. And the design itself doesn't change, but the pattern is we have so many patterns according to the regions or producers. But it is changing for the time.
There are a couple of elements to it. I'm noticing some very nuanced, delicate touches and finishing touches. Can you take us through the different parts, the elements and those finishing touches? How does it all come together?
Perhaps it would be wise to stand there and 後ろ向いて. This is belt we call obi.
Obi. Okay.
And it is kimono dress and obi is a set. And it is a very important part. And this is the kimono obi example. And from flat fabric, we will fold the obi as this wise.
Absolutely beautiful. I love that. Thank you so much. Consul, while we have you here, before we let you go, you obviously have an opportunity now to be here in South Africa representing Japanese culture. Why are you so proud of your country and your heritage?
Oh, well, no. I think we are just one of the countries, and we have in Cape Town, we have 160 Japanese people here living, and we have so many tourists originally. And in this beautiful country, it is a great pleasure for me to present Japan.
And it is an unbelievable pleasure for us to host you here. I say thank you to your nation for hosting the most amazing Olympic Games. I think the whole world fell in love with Japan as a result of the way that you treated the athletes and the way that the Games were put together. I've got one last phrase because I need to know this in case I have to see you again next week. How do I say, see you next week?
来週会いましょう.
来週.
来週.
Raishu. I've got Mata Raishu.
Mata Raishu, yes.
Is that all right as well?
Yes.
Mata Raishu. I've got to say to both of you, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have thoroughly loved delving into your culture. I can understand why you are so proud to be here in Cape Town as a representative of your nation. But thank you to both of you for coming today to help to educate us and get us really excited about your amazing country. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
The Japanese culture, indeed, so rich, so nuanced, so beautiful. We're enjoying the fact that we can learn so much about it this morning. We also did ask you on social media, if you were an anime character, which one would you be and why? Let's take a look at some more comments that have come through. Kolofelo Hope Baloi says, Vidal, so that I have powers to fly wherever I want to without paying a cent. How's that? Hashtag Expresso Show. And then Larigan Dean Koema says, Gintoki Sakata from Gintama. He carries a wooden sword, which doesn't break so often, and he uses it in a real fight. That's smart. That's really, really smart. One from Daniel Bechby who says, Vegeta would be nice to be royalty. And that hairstyle too, right? That is a really cool hairstyle there. Layla Sean says Naruto. Naruto is coming through quite a bit this morning with Tessas Tine Blessing saying Goku. Hi, Jean Scott says Vegeta because he is the prince of all Saiyans. How's that? Use that hashtag Expresso Show. Really enjoying going through this with you guys. We would like to find out if you were an anime character, which one would you be and why? Right now, time to make a winner.
Yes, indeedy. It's been a lot of winning this week. We started by giving away devices. Now we're going to hopefully make someone's day this morning. It's time to color your life with Plascon. And we asked you guys at home what your favorite room in the house is and what color you would paint it if you happen to win that 4,000 Rand Plascon voucher.
Thank you for all the entries. We've seen so many incredible ones that have come through. We can only pick one winner, unfortunately. Now, before we find out who that winner is, let's take a look at some of the comments on social that you've posted up. Let me just take a look at a few of them, just so that you know exactly who has been posting. And I mean, there's so many great rooms in the house, but let's take a look for a second.
Lucretia Aronsa saying my lounge is my favorite room in the house because this is where we make use of family time. Yeah. We're in the lounge literally every day, and I would paint it grey and white. A lot of people opting for like one accent wall, maybe one pillar in a grey, a blue. Love that idea.
And I think it's quite nice to have a showpiece wall as well. We have another message that has come through. Let's take a look at that. It's from Nora Mako that says, my kitchen needs renovation paint. It makes my heart sink when I enter it. Lime green is the perfect color and a refreshing one for me. You have no idea. Kitchen actually is like the mood setter of the house.
Yeah, very much so. And you want good energy in your kitchen because that's where you're kind of creating, feeding the family. Charmaine Balraj saying, it's got to be my room. It's where I go to relax after being mom to my 3 boys. Yo, my comfort zone where I recharge my batteries. Since I'm the only female, I'd like it to be a light lilac or blue. I like that. She's got clear ideas.
Yeah, those are common colors as well. So I think that's great things. Thanks a lot for your comments. But it is time to reveal the lucky winner. Drum roll, please. Here we go. Congratulations, Sally Ann West Graham! Yes, Sally Ann! Yes.
I thought you were adding me to the winning name there. Sally Ann Weston Graham.
I was actually thinking about that. I almost added Richards at the end there. Well done. Congratulations, Sally Ann.
So let's see what Sally Ann said. She said grey and white. Actually, my whole house, as I'm thinking it's refreshing and calming. And she's been listening to our chats with all of our painting experts.
Yes.
People are doing that. They want fresh colours, but they also want a colour accent. It's important. I love it. Sally Ann, congratulations. 4,000 rands with the Plascon is on its way to you. That'll take you far. Well done.
It will do. Thanks a lot, Sally Ann. And for everybody that commented in, we do appreciate you. Now, for all the lucky viewers watching at home, you actually stand a chance to win a 4,000 Rand Plascon voucher too. Simply reply to the competition post on the Expresso Facebook, Twitter or Instagram page and tell us what colour would you paint the exterior of your home if you won the 4,000 Rand Plascon voucher.
Don't forget to use that hashtag Plascon, the Hascon Lifestyle. The competition closes Tuesday, the 14th of September at midnight. But as always, you can find those terms and conditions that apply on expressoshow.com. Good luck.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to Feel Good Breakfast Show. This is Expresso. You're on S3, and I can tell you there's something exciting to tell you about. And this is one of my favorites. It's on the bucket list as well. Our next guest is Darren Morrisby, the managing director of Setamono Japanese Homeware, South Africa's leading Japanese homeware and kitchen store for products made in Japan for functional living. He joins us in studio to talk about the growing popularity of Japanese homeware in the Western world as we celebrate Japan on Expresso today. Darren, welcome and thank you for bringing what is my bucket list item in the kitchen here today.
Yes, thanks for having me.
So if I look at just how beautiful it is, these are, you can't even call them kitchen appliances, kitchen tools. These are pieces of art in your kitchen, aren't they?
Yeah, incredibly beautiful, functional pieces that work extremely well indoors and outdoors.
If I look at you know, the way somebody would get into this type of industry. Of course, Japan is all the way across the world. So where did the love for Japanese culture come from your side?
I worked in London for 17 years, and I've always worked in Japanese or Asian style concepts.
Yes.
And through that experience, I traveled quite extensively.
Okay.
And Asia was one of my favorites, and Japan being my top choice.
It's a top choice for so many different elements. There's so many facets of Japan that enthuse, and really there's a wonder that has the country gripping everybody. If I look at these over here now, South Africans, immediately you resonate because you're thinking there's coal, there's a grid.
Yes.
It must speak to braai. That's kind of our quickest reference to it. However, the hibachi has with it so much culture, so much history as well.
Yes.
What type of meals would you prepare on a hibachi for those who are not in the know?
Ultimately, you can prepare anything on it. So if it fits on the grill, you can grill it. But ultimately, in Japan, what the Japanese do is they use it as their home cooking tool, their preferred choice of home cooking tool. If you go out into Japanese restaurants, you eat at yakiniku restaurants, which is especially using the hibachis, and they specifically use high-grade quality wagyu. Generally, it's thinner strips that's quicker cooking, but you can do a variety of different dishes. So, I mean, there's no limits to vegetables, to fish, to meats.
I think anybody who's watched a good reality cooking show, you'd know that there are vegetables go on here, chicken wings go on here as well. And as you mentioned, Wagyu, which is just a pièce de résistance when it comes to protein on a hibachi. So when it comes to the hibachis that you have in front of us over here, you've got a couple of different styles of them. Is there any significance to the different styles, or is it just about choice, preference, family size?
Yeah, that's a good question, because that's the predominant question that's always asked.
Yes.
Ultimately, what I've done today, we've got a much larger range, but we've brought these in.
All right.
This is a Hida Conro hibachi. The one that's the red one is more called a shishirin. And then you've got this one here, which is a handmade conro. So essentially what they are is they're all made from diatomaceous earth, which is incredibly porous. It holds the heat incredibly well. But ultimately, if you're talking about the best quality that you can get, it's going to be the handmade conro, purely for the reason that they mine the blocks by hand under the Sea of Japan. They fire them to 1,000 degrees for 6 hours. It goes onto a conveyor belt, and they actually produce and make these by hand. So the actual diatomite blocks are said to be a minimum of 15 million years old, because there's trapped phytoplankton that's inside it. So it makes them incredibly special.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that's the great story. If you have guests over, you'd want to get a piece like this and speak to this, because it even makes the food better. Because if you've got a story behind your cooking tool, suddenly you can say, hey, this is something being made on something with rich history, and I think that's the power of it. Why do you think Japanese culture and elements like these have become so popular in the Western world?
I think purely down to the craftsmanship and the quality and the functionality. Not only are the hibachis portable, but they're also used extensively in restaurants globally.
Yeah.
So Michelin star restaurants use the hibachi specifically because of the cooking power.
Absolutely. And the cooking power comes from these beautiful coals. Now, for any South African, you're thinking, can I take some of my normal coals and throw it into this thing and go for it? But I wanted to know, is there any sort of reason as to why you use those specific coals in here?
So, Benchitan charcoal, I mean, number one is that you can use, the answer is yes, you can use any charcoal in it. But we always suggest to people to at least try Benchitan once, the white Benchitan. And essentially, the Benchitan burns with no smoke, burns with no smell. It burns longer than regular charcoal, and to top it off, it's reusable. So you take the Benchitan, once you've finished using it in your hibachi, you place it into an extinguishing pot that we have, which is a handmade ceramic pot, which is low-fired.
Wow.
Put the Benchitan inside the pot, put the lid on, it kills the oxygen. So essentially it can't burn anymore. So it goes back to its original state, so you can use it again and again.
Oh, you see, that's the key.
Yeah, and not only that, but there's no carcinogens in it. There's no chemicals. It's pretty much 96 to 98% pure carbon.
Well, that is the beautiful thing about it, because often, us South Africans, we lean over, and I mean, we get close to Braai Week and Braai Month, So, I mean, you lean over these things and you're thinking, I'm going to be okay, but, with the chemicals, anything quick light is going to have some, chemicals in there. So that's the thing. If I just look at this, just to make sure that any South African who purchases this, don't start the fire in your hibachi in your kitchen. Can we just say that? I wanted to make sure that that's verbal. because you don't want anybody getting the blitz out and going for it.
Yeah, so ultimately what we've got is the way that the Japanese do it is, especially you can see the pan. It's called a Binchatan starter pan. And essentially what you do is you put your Binchatan in the pot, you put it onto your kitchen hob, and you actually light it in the kitchen. But you can also light it outside and transfer it into your hibachi. But essentially you burn it in your kitchen, and once it's fully lit, you transfer that pot into your hibachi.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So that is something which is very different to your normal kind of starting a fire by using a fire lighter. So it's a lot cleaner using that.
I was just a bit worried that somebody would look at this and say, hey, let's brine the house, and then without actually knowing that there's something very delicate about it. And the fact that these coals that you've brought here, there's something that it does to the food too. You're not going to get any of that chemical char on the food. It's very pure. And, you know, this is a good reason to get yourself not only a hibachi, but a Wagyu steak too, because I think that the two go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
Some incredible accessories. Also, you got some of the plates as well there that really looks very, very beautiful along with the hibachi.
Thank you.
It's a statement piece, and I'm so glad that you brought what is a bucket list item onto your Feel Good Breakfast show. Darren, thank you very much for joining us. And you know, if you would love to get one of these hibachis, Setamono, Japanese homeware, that's the place to go. They've got so many great varieties for you. And I think it's a story, it's culture, and trust me, your food is going to be infinitely better on a hibachi. Give it a try.
Well, let's excite you a little bit in the kitchen. More traditional Japanese food. We're making some traditional Japanese desserts now. You just have to try mochi. Let's talk about mochi, guys. It's a popular treat. It's a rice cake made of glutinous rice that is pounded together to form a smooth, squishy, and chewy texture. How's that? Adri Lowe, pastry chef from Mochi Mochi, based here in Cape Town, is here to tell us all about this and how to make these very unique treats. Audrey, what on earth?
You might have noticed I was doing like the excited food dance beforehand. Mochi Mochi sounds like the most incredible place. I'm actually getting goosebumps just talking. You gave us a little bit of background into the life history, but just encapsulate it for us right now. Why are you so proud of Mochi Mochi and Japanese cuisine, in fact?
I mean, Asian culture in general has always been a love of ours, and since we actually started delving into Japanese specifically and went to Japan, we just fell in love with it all, like hook, line, and sinker. So we now want to know everything and all about it. And once you start eating these completely different things, it blows your mind completely.
And we'll know why you love it so much.
So much love to go into it, and all of it is just a little bit less sweet than you think it should be. So it's
Oh, that's dangerous. That is very, very dangerous. You've brought a beautiful variety of different kind of desserts. Can we call them desserts? Do we call them pastries? Do we call them mochi? What do we call them?
You can call them sweet treats, I guess.
Treats. Yeah, they are. They're beautiful. So maybe a good place to start is with a bit of a practical. So you're gonna teach Uncle Tabsy here.
Yeah, and tell us what it is as well. Take us through the whole steps, all the steps.
So on my silpad over here, I have the mochi skins lying down already.
Mochi skins?
So this is the obviously actual mochi that I've now already cooked and pounded. And it's now all elastic and squishy and stretchy. You can see.
So that's already done.
So this is now the actual mochi that they call mochi. And then we do these little truffles, because in Japan they're actually quite a little bit bigger.
Okay.
But I mean, to have that mouthful of chew is a bit hectic. So we made our little mochi truffles instead.
Nice.
So we fill them also with white bean paste, which we flavor, which we'll see here, black sesame and milk tart, which is our little South African spin.
I love that.
Of course, bringing in some South African love. Where the other guys is actual chocolate truffles. So this one is a matcha flavored with white chocolate and
We're
matcha.
going to get our hands dirty. I need to get some
come.
paper. I need to get, working here. I mean...
So normally after a day of work, I'm full of, corn flour and call it a little mochi dust.
Yeah.
But do you feel, because there's a lot of pressure when you're cooking in a traditional space, you know, you have to tread lightly because there is obviously a strong cultural significance to what you're making. So it obviously... It took you guys a while to make sure that you get this just right.
Yes, and of course we had to go to Japan and eat it there as well. So we can't just, Google a recipe, eat it and go, oh, I think I'm doing this right.
How long were you there for?
I went the first time for 2 weeks and then the second time also for 2 weeks. So
please don't ever leave us for Japan. Please promise. Okay, let's get through this.
Just keep going there and bringing it back. We love that.
All right, so now we're going to fold the filling inside of the mochi.
Okay.
So I bring the two sides together and I pinch. That sort of sticks together. It's very sticky. The other two sides push, and then I just push these two together as well, like that. form my little ball to make it nice and
So
smooth.
you want it completely tight.
Yes,
right?
and you don't want to stretch it too much because you don't want the bottom to be thicker than the top, you know,
Okay.
even all around.
Uniform, cool.
You know, that's also the whole everything Japanese. Be very specific, everything perfection.
Precision.
And yeah, I'm also one of those people, so...
How many of these have you made, do you think, in your life?
That is a great question. I would probably not even be able to answer that question. Definitely more than 1,000 by now.
Got you 1,000 hours done.
Once I started my little addicts, it's
Can I try one?
Yeah, of course,
You
please
better,
do.
dude. You better do it.
You do.
Well, unfortunately, I can't. We've got to manage our social distancing, but he will ably do it for the team. So I understand, because you guys have really thought about making Japanese food accessible. Talk me through the levels of mochi mochi. How does that work? The restaurant, yeah.
So we have Ching Ching next door, which is the levels.
Okay.
The levels. So we have the street food at the bottom.
How cool
and
is
we have our momiji in the middle floor, which is our fine dining. And then right at the top, we have our rooftop bar that's been there since the get-go, since we opened. And then mochi mochi. Oh!
That's a cool experience.
Right, hold it in your hands. You can still give it more ball action.
Are you proud?
And then mochi mochi is obviously the little spin-off that came from my little pastry section that's been out to the side. It's now our little pop-up with molten toffee next door.
Oh, man. It's such a brilliant concept. Can I taste?
Please do.
You've been waiting to do that.
So just to show you, I finished this one off. So all of them so you can see what's inside. This one we dust off with a little bit of matcha, or a lot of matcha, so you know exactly what's inside.
So pretty.
Okay.
Same with this one, black sesame, milk tart, so you can start with whichever one you like. And
Okay, which one are you going to try? I'm going to, seeing as you put all the effort into the matcha one, I'm going to give that a go.
So is the whole idea to get just all sorts of different chocolates going inside
Yes.
them?
Yeah,
so
so
you
we
can really
play
make a
around.
variety. I
Yes.
like that. How does it taste, G-Man?
Squishy. Give him a bit.
It's exactly right. It's not overly sweet.
Yeah.
The texture, it really is squishy and gooey.
And it's definitely something to get used to. But at least, like we said, if you have the chocolate inside, once you get past the weirdness, there's something familiar in there.
You'll develop, because it's just different to anything that I've had before. But once you get into it, I think
get
you
into
will.
the swing of it. But there must be some sort of technique to eating, you know, a mochi. Do you just throw the whole thing in your mouth and just like gobble it?
I
or
would
do you
say
just
probably
like
2 bites for this.
Okay, well,
for
I
the
failed
truffle.
in that endeavour,
But
because I shoved the whole
that's
thing in,
also
but
fine. That's
because it
why
was
it's
so
so
nice.
perfect that it's you know, a bite size.
You're doing the milk
instead of a
tart
big
one. How's that?
So this is our local is lacquer flavor.
Very chewy, eh?
Yes, very chewy. You do find yourself sometimes craving.
Audrey, is it your birthday today?
It is.
Oh, that's so cool. Happy birthday.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for coming here and celebrating your birthday with us in style. You brought the best party favors with. So we've got a beautiful range. I mean, these look exquisite. Talk us through what else you've brought here before I eat it.
Awesome. So this is our mitarasi dango, which is also then a different sort of rice dumpling, which is not pounded but molded instead. And then in Japan, they actually grill it over an open fire and then get the soy caramel over the top. But this one, because I don't always have fire, you know, just
when
close
would you
by.
have those, for example? So is it for like special occasions or just if you're looking
These
for
they actually always have on the streets as well. This one.
Okay, like street food vibes.
And a lot of these other Japanese streets they normally have with tea, of course,
Thank you.
Thank
with
you.
green
It looks
tea
so pretty.
or tea time. Yes.
You want to take photos of it before you eat it, eh?
No, this is done here. I hope they took the photos beforehand.
So yeah, this one I just fry in the pan with a bit of butter. So yeah, also a bit of squishy.
A bit of a savouriness to it.
But this one has a bit of the savouriness, and the soy is then instead of a bit of salt to get that, you know, salted caramel idea. But yes, so this one is definitely savoury. And a bit of kinako on top, which is toasted soybeans that's been ground.
I love that they're not too sweet,
nice,
so you can really dip and have all of them.
I'm coming back for you, my little friend. I'm coming back for you. In these beautiful buns.
Yes. They're called melon pan.
Melon pan.
So obviously Japan didn't start with bread. The Portuguese brought the idea over when they went over, yes. And then the times where rice was a bit scarce in world wars and things, they started eating more breads and they became a bit more sweeter because it was also a bit more for tea times and things. The specific one, they're still trying to figure out where the exact backstory is, but it looks exactly like a melon, which is where the melon idea comes from, melon pan, because pan meaning bread.
Okay.
And yeah, there's no melons actually inside. It's just some milk bread and a little cookie on top.
I love the design of it. That looks
beautiful.
so good.
And then standing proudly on this beautiful plate, what is our...
The Japanese cheesecake, which I've also now made into obviously a little bite size. It's also the whole idea of mochi mochi, you can have more than one thing.
That's it.
And then we have our miso caramel on the side, which you can just pour over a little spoon.
You'd obviously melt that a little bit. Oh, it's done.
Wow.
And
Look
there you go.
It's like a taco.
That's why it's called a treat, eh?
Absolutely beautiful. Come, dude. I'll give you a little taste of this. You can bring me your...
well, listen, if you are ever in Cape Town, do pop in at Mochi Mochi to try a traditional flavoured mochi, or give one of their South African-inspired ones a try. They've got so much variety there. And maybe the question is, have you ever tried any of these traditional Japanese desserts? We'd like to hear from you. Please do let us know on our Facebook Expresso Morning Show SABC3. Use that hashtag Expresso Show Adri. Happy birthday! And thank you so much for dropping by and bringing all of these fantastic treats.
Oh, thank you guys so much for having me.
You clearly are very good at watching. I love the fact that you have taken the time to really immerse yourself in the culture and eat the food, but bring a little flavour to South Africa, and it sounds like a magical place. I'm definitely date night. I'm coming. I'm taking my beautiful fiancé to your little treasure trove of Japanese delights, but have the most amazing birthday.
Thank you so much.
Go and roll another 1,000 of these. All right, let's try the cheesecake.
Simple as CBD should be.
Purity, as your partner along your parenting journey, are also partnering with Cotlands to help raise 1 million rand towards early childhood development. For every Purity toiletry product purchased this August and September, Purity will donate 1 rand to Cotlands. Together with Purity, you too can help SA's little ones start their big journey and reach their full potential. Another Purity promise fulfilled.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to Feel Good Breakfast Show. This is Expresso on S3, and it is time to celebrate your birthday.
Have a happy birthday. Happy birthday. A very happy birthday to you.
I love that little sound because it heralds birthdays. It is. It's so cute. We love this part of the show because we get to see you guys, connect with you guys, and help celebrate your magical moments. You guys send in amazing videos every week, and this week is no different. Check this out.
Here we go. Adila with the TikTok.
Adila, I love the setting, man.
That sky.
Yeah, that was a good angle. Oh, and Adila's just got the groove, eh? Too cool for school.
That's
Amara.
Here we go. And also with that twinkle filter, it just makes things
happen. Hey. Oh, Kutlano. Oh, it was a surprise guest act. I love that.
Now the hood, it's a hood for me, man. Hey.
Oh, Leolan. Let's go, boy. Feeling the vibe.
Oh, that's
How low
I'm a piano,
can you
make your back go that way.
How low can you go? That's a party chick. Leroy. Boom.
Yo.
Pop it, Leroy.
Okay, the Devolution dance crew needs a member. It's you. Wow.
Oh, no.
Hey, Megan.
Oh, look at it. It's a sweetie pie. Gorgeous.
Hey!
Shafika.
That's the other anthem that she's dancing to. I like it. That's it. Hey, in the meantime,
The hips don't lie. Chavandre. Got the footwork, eh?
It's important. The footwork, it must be important. Look at that, the knee dropping like that. Yo,
Yeah, but that's a young man's game there. You've got to be loose and yeah, Tanya, ready for the turn up. Hey, dance, girl. It's a birthday.
Yo!
Beautiful, beautiful stuff.
You know what I really want? One of my dreams to have all of the birthday people be here on set.
Just groove.
And just doing a proper birthday thing, like the dance crew that we're going to have in later. That's the dream right there. But we do have something very, very special, and that is, it's a birthday today.
Yes.
And that is birthday of somebody very, very special.
Yes.
And I want to introduce you to her. Hello, Leah.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, hello.
Leah, how old are you today?
I was 5.
Okay, that's good. How old are you?
5.
5, she says proudly.
Yes.
Leah, you look absolutely beautiful today. I think that we need to quickly take a look at this winning dance video. This is the video that was sent in by Leah and her family. Take a look at this. Oh, she's got the sass, Mummy. Mummy, I've got to ask you, has she always been that confident? Does she get that from you?
Definitely, yes, she does. Since the age of 3, she loves dancing.
Clearly, she's got a talent for it. She is beautiful. You just made me miss my daughter so much, man. Oh, you hit me right in the feels. Look at the gorgeous moves. I'm hoping you're going to have the most amazing, amazing birthday. We're going to make it just a little bit better because you are the winner of 500 Rand!
500 Rand!
Yay! Yes! Yay! Let's do it. More balloons, more balloons. Yeah! Yeah!
500 Rand!
Oh, Leah, 500 Rand is just for you. You can put that in your piggy bank. You can deposit it into your bank account. You can do whatever you want with it because it's all yours. Thank you for sending in a beautiful dance video. Are you going to be a professional dancer when you grow up, Leah?
Yes.
Oh, you see the confidence over there. And well done, Mom, you know, for imparting some of the dancing knowledge. We know that you wanted to dance too, but it's okay. It's going to be Leah's day today.
You better send in one for your birthday as well. Okay, maybe. Please do.
Okay.
Now,
yes, okay. That's a deal now, because it's been on live TV. You can't go back on your word. It's going to be just like that. I can't wait. Well done, Leah, and congratulations on your birthday. 5 years old. And the thing is, 5 years old, 500 Rand. I want you to be a part of the competition. It was
meant to be.
Just a whole lot of high fives all around. So if you have a little bit of a birthday and you want to do a dance video, I want you to send it through. You can send your video through to 071-640-6551. Terms and conditions on expressoshow.com. Best dance move will win the 500 Rand. So good luck to you and happy birthday.
Thank you.
A very happy birthday. And now we take a final look at those news headlines. The Department of Justice and Correctional Services says hackers broke into its information technology system on Monday night and all its electronic services were encrypted in the process. None of its employees or members of the public could access them. These include its website, bail services and email. The department says its IT teams are getting the systems back on the air. Meanwhile, emergency measures have been put in place so that the situation does not affect court activities. Apparently, the department's data has not been compromised. Staying in South Africa, Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana says that the government was considering replacing the 350 Rand COVID-19 grant with another form of relief. He added, however, that it would all depend on affordability, and he said that this was aimed at trying to reduce the poverty gap. Meanwhile, Statistics South Africa yesterday said that a person in South Africa now needs to have at least 624 Rand per month to meet the minimum required daily energy intake. In international news, Kenya's first female Chief Justice, Martha Koome, has admitted that corruption is a menace in Kenya, both inside and outside the judiciary. In a media interview to mark 100 days since she took office, the Chief Justice said that she trusts in the judiciary, and she believed that the trust in the judiciary had over time been affected. And she said she was now focusing on presenting to Kenyans a judiciary judiciary that they could have confidence in and one that was relevant to them. She said it concerned her that corruption cases involving millions of dollars of taxpayers' money were taking years to resolve. Cricket Australia will cancel its men's test match with Afghanistan if the reports that the women's team cannot play under Taliban rule are true. On Wednesday, the International Cricket Council said that it was concerned by Taliban Cultural Commission Deputy Head Ahmadullah Wasiq's comments. Wasiq told an Australian broadcaster that he didn't think that women should be allowed to play cricket, and he said it's not necessary for women to play as they may face situations where their faces and their bodies will not be covered, which Islam does not allow. And next, Japanese patrol vessel crew rushed to save a dog. The crew of a patrol vessel of Japan's Nagoya Coast Guard a few days ago rushed to rescue a dog stuck on a concrete revetment in a river near the city after receiving a frantic call from its distraught owner. The crew of the patrol vessel found a beautiful Shetland sheepdog, also known as a Sheltie, at the bottom of a concrete revetment near the mouth of the Mino River. Now, the revetment was too steep for the dog to ascend, and the crew initially tried several times to scoop up the pooch with a landing net, but the animal was wet, agitated and too heavy. Then it started swimming away in the cold water, and the Coast Guard crew calmly gave chase and managed to collar it as it headed to the revetment again. Now, the dog was safely returned to its extremely happy and appreciative owner, who had anxiously been watching the rescue drama from close by. Fantastic news. That's where we leave it for this morning.
Let's start with cricket this morning. Themba Bavuma will lead the Proteas in the 7th edition of the T20 World Cup. That, of course, taking place in the UAE and Oman next month. It'll be his first major world event at the helm since his permanent appointment earlier this year. Then Keshav Maharaj and Bjorn Fortuin, they've also been added as perhaps the surprise inclusions, with Andile Petlakwayo, George Linder and Lazard Williams named as travelling reserves. South Africa get their World Cup campaign underway against old foes Australia on the 23rd of October. Staying with cricket news, but moving to the ladies' draw, the Proteas women will be hoping to build on their 8-wicket win over the West Indies in their first ODI when the second of 5 matches gets underway at 4 p.m. this afternoon. A convincing win in that opening game of the series was set up by a brilliant 91 from possibly one of the best players, if not the best player at the moment in the world, Lizelle Lee, at the top of the order. Before that, Ayabonga Kaka, Tumi Sekokune and Danae van Niekerk all weighing in with 2 wickets apiece as the hosts were dismissed for just 153. Then high-stakes rugby on the way locally this weekend. Sharks head coach Sean Everett has opted for continuity and consistency. He's backing his team in terms of his team selection for that Currie Cup final against the Bulls tomorrow. Springbok front rower Thomas du Toit, he's been named in the starting lineup with Pepsi Buthelezi once again captaining the side. The Sharks won the previous meeting between the sides last month, 35-28, one of the few teams to beat the Bulls this season. And they booked their spot in the final after overcoming a very spirited Griquas outfit 28-24 in the semi-finals. Then on to football. The English top flight is back after the international break with a full roster of fixtures to sink our teeth into. The standout game will undoubtedly be between Leicester and Man City tomorrow, but we know all eyes will be on Man United, as Cristiano Ronaldo could potentially make a second debut for the Red Devils as they take on the Geordie Army, and that's Newcastle, of course. Then Arsenal, they're going to need to find some form. They'll be hoping for their first win of the campaign when they take on Norwich, with Miguel Arteta very much with his back against the wall. And then on Sunday, the only game we'll see is Liverpool travelling to Leeds. And that's a wrap of your sport for this Friday morning. Enjoy it wherever your allegiances lie. And of course, don't forget to show some gears for the Boks as they take on Australia at 5 minutes past 12 on Sunday. But right now, let's set the tone for the weekend with the weather.
Thanks a lot, G. Let's take a look at those weather details, and starting off with some weather news from around the world and continuing our exploration when it comes to Japan. The world's largest natural flower garden at the west coast in Namaqualand is currently in full bloom. Every clear day, the sun transforms billions of flowers into a sea of magnificent and vibrant colors. But as we're visiting Japan this morning, let's have a look at the country's world-famous flower season known as Sakura, the cherry blossom season. The national flower of Japan, the cherry blossom is of huge historical and cultural significance, representing presenting a time of renewal and optimism. These small and dainty flowers bloom in hues of pink and white, creating clouds of beauty across Japan in spring. Cherry blossoms usually bloom between mid-March and early May. Yoshino, where a carpet of blushing blooms cascade the mountainsides annually, is probably Japan's most famous cherry bloom destination. Japanese culture recognizes the short-lived lifespan of the flower as a symbol of the transience of human existence. When cherry blossoms bloom, they flourish into vibrant and potent flowers, only to fall from their trees a fortnight later. This is seen as a melancholic yet a beautiful metaphor for our fleeting lives, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. Now, we can't explore another country without finding out about the landscape as well as the geography too, so we thought we'd spruce things up a little bit this morning, give you some fun facts about Japan. Now, we just heard about that cherry blossom season known as Sakura. Now, for visitors that miss the short-lived season, fear not, because there is an opportunity. There are many other beautiful locations across Japan to see the cherry blossoms that bloom a little later in spring than in Tokyo. Now, one of those locations is known as the Nagano region, famous for its breathtaking Japanese Alps and hot springs. Hanami is the age-old Japanese tradition of enjoying the beauty of cherry and rum blossoms. It is a quiet moment of enjoyment and reflection on nature's beauty. If you want to escape the hustle and bustle of the city, then be sure to head over to Amachi, a small town nestled in the majestic northern Alps. That's if you're going to travel soon, there's a good idea just for you. Now, back on our own shores, we of course have some sunrise photos to share with you to start your day. Now, starting us off on the show today, Alan Radnicki from Stellenbosch captured this beautiful picture, a little throwback for us, a bit of an overcast view over the fields in the area. Gorgeous stuff, Alan. Thanks so much. Taking us a little further north up to the coast of Durban, Joey Peterson, who also shared this throwback to Monday just before the rain arrived. Marius Vessels from Joburg shared this brilliant and bright silhouetted image of the sun coming up in the distance. Martha Brink from Kalbaskraal in Western Cape shared a similar image filled with hues of orange and yellow as the sun comes up. Thanks a lot for all of those pictures. They are always welcome. If you've got some good ones taken over this weekend, we'd love to feature it next week. Just go to the Expresso Facebook page. As we get into your temperatures across the country, it gives you a good idea of what to expect today. Polokwane looking good. 22 is your high from a low of 6 today. Bombela, you can expect 10 and you jump up to 23 degrees Celsius. Pretoria, goeiemorgen, good morning. 9 to 25 today. Johannesburg, looking nice and clear. 23 is your maximum from a minimum of 9 degrees Celsius. Mahikeng, 12 to 26. Klerksdorp, 28 is your max from a min of 9. Kimberley, 14 to 29. Bloemfontein looking sunny. 27 degrees Celsius is the max. Richards Bay, 16 to 23 with a 25% chance of rain. Pietermaritzburg, 13 is where you start. You rise up to 28. Durban, 17 to 25. Umtata, one of the warmer regions in South Africa today, 31 degrees Celsius from a low of 13. East London, 17 to 30. Cradock, 14 to 34, topping the temperatures for today. Gqeberha, you got 13 to 30. George, 11 to 25. Cape Town, 19 is your high from a low of 11. Worcester, you top at 28 from a low of 11 as well. Sutherland also starting at 11 degrees Celsius this morning, rising up steadily to 24 degrees Celsius, and then Uppington, 18, and you're up to 33 a little bit later. That wraps up your weather. No matter what type of weather there is out there, I know you're going to have a feel-good day because you started with us here on Expresso on S3.
So now, with a Vodacom Red, you get to unlock a world of exclusive benefits and rewards. So we want you to unlock Red this weekend with these iconic deals for an Apple iPhone 12 5G 64 gigabytes or the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 LTE. Both incredible devices going for a steal.
I mean, this is what you'll get. You'll get the following with these two really incredible Red core plans. You'll get 600 minutes. Okay. Think about that. 3 gigs anytime and 3 gigs night owl. Fantastic. 3 gigs video ticket over 3 months. They throw that in as well. 4 months.
Because we be watching. We be watching on our phones, man.
We stay there, right? 4 months device theft cover for your peace of mind.
Nice.
And then wait for this. You also get that free 20 gigs of data once off. I mean, these are very cool deals.
They're actually really good. I've spent some time examining the cell space, and that's a lot of value to cram into one deal. You can find out more about the new Vodacom Red packages simply by watching the Insider SA Repeat. It goes out as it does every week at 1 p.m. right here on S3. Join Expresso this spring to stand a chance of winning a 4,000 Rand Plascon voucher weekly as we ask how you colour your life. Is it the cherry red in your ride, maybe the burst of new blues from your garden, or the sunsets and seascapes of a favourite getaway? Well, answer our weekly social media question and find the terms and conditions on expressoshow.com. Then colour your life with 4,000 Rand paint vouchers to be won all spring on Expresso.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so sorry. I'm going to apologize. I've been stuffing my face with Japanese food every second that we've had.
I can tell.
That whole trying to get through my sports, my news.
Without doing this,
my mouth is drooling. I'm so sorry. I apologize. But when I said we're going to experience the culture, we have to. But right now, we're going to turn our attention to something else. And this is another conversation that we've been absolutely loving. Our thought-provoking skin sessions with Ingrams have led us on a phenomenal journey over the past 12 weeks. We've delved into some controversial topics, from beauty redefined and skin equality to acts of liberation and modern masculinity.
Now, these really have been brave conversations. We've been looking at them, we've been thinking about them, they've been provoking conversations at home, but I think let's take a look at some of the highlights of those convos.
I choose to dwell in the positive light of what I see is my journey and my beauty going forward.
Being happy with the person that you are at the present moment. Being able to stand in front of the mirror, celebrating your body and loving your body within the present moment.
And so no matter what scars or lumps or bumps or marks are going to appear on my body in the next few months, it's okay because I'm going to be brave to wear those like a badge of honor.
What is important with dealing with depression is finding your safe spaces. When you've got your people that you can talk to, people that you can confide in and safely be yourself, you know, and don't be scared to talk.
I have to agree with Sizakele. Environment and friends are, you know, the people that you can relate to and find safe spaces with are the most important people.
We all are adjusting to this new normal circumstance, and the new normal is actually giving us a time to introspect and say, what is our priorities right now?
When you practice self-care, what you're doing is saying, I have needs and I value myself enough to take care of those needs.
And my parents never even for once sat me down and said, are you gay? Are you bisexual? Are you whatever? I've just been told you are beautiful, smart, intelligent, you are confident, you are everything, you are enough.
But I'm honestly just at a place where I'm so happy. I can't afford to wake up on any given day and just not be who I want to be with who I want to love. Like, it's not going to be me.
I'm black, I'm female, and I'm trans.
And in that, there's a softness and there's a connectedness that I say that is my superpower.
I wanted to find first something that was going to make me stand out. And I think the first thing that I actually thought of, I needed to be myself. I needed to be authentic.
The highlight around trans women has become more pronounced this year, and I think that's because of a general move in the world as a whole.
And then you get all these externals put into you, and there in that moment you stop becoming yourself.
We are living in very interesting times as men, where we have to define and redefine, where we have to think innovatively about what is the role of a man, who are we, what is a man.
I think the very thing that people criticize you for often is the thing that is your gift, that is your specialness. It's what you bring to the world.
I think what people forget is that your home is your foundation for the type of person that you become. A lot of what we learn comes from this environment, and self-love being instilled in a person, where a lot of people don't often get that, is part of the reason that made me strong.
Parents need to be around to make sure children are safe, etc. But keep a little bit of distance as well to enable children to discover and work things out for themselves.
It is through seeing themselves in the characters in the books that the kids are actually able to say, oh my goodness, that one looks like me. That one is a hero and she's exactly like me.
And on social media platforms, you see a lot of body shaming that people are putting out there. But campaigns like this one that Ingram is running is about making people aware that you are on a journey of personal discovery, personal mastery towards working towards the best version of yourself.
I always say in my interviews, I go in online to be myself. The biggest thing has been curating content, firstly for myself and not for anyone else, because in that way I get to show my true, authentic self.
Ingram's, your skin, your brave.
Unapologetic.
And
I
it's
love
power.
it.
It really is.
Some gravitas there. I've got to say thank you to all of the guests that have contributed. We've spoken to some amazing individuals who each have unique stories, but clearly are not, they've gone through the journey to get to a point. I'm not going to say it's easy to get to a point where you're brave and comfortable in your own skin. We all, especially us being on TV every day, trust me, if you've got an insecurity, it will fly out. It'll be there, but it has been so enlightening to hear these different perspectives on such quite a controversial range of topics as well.
Absolutely.
Really proud of everyone that's joined the conversation. Thank
We also asked you to join in the conversation because I know that you can see that, but it's important to jump in and share your vulnerability. That's the key to overcoming whatever type of weakness you think you have. So Marcel, let me just give you this a read. For a long time, I've been hiding my skin under long layered clothes and makeup because I didn't believe my skin equals beauty. Then lockdown happened. There was nowhere to go. I slowly got comfortable with not covering. It was only then that I realized that I've been hiding so much under clothes and makeup that I wasn't even able to notice the beauty of my skin. And I think it's gorgeous. I now embrace my skin, making sure I drink enough water for that extra glow and bravely wear my skin wherever I go.
Yeah, girl. I absolutely love that. I often see that when I do media training, and when we start the process, and especially women, I think, where there is a far greater pressure on you in terms of how you look, where they will hide behind hair, hide behind clothing, hide behind these elements unconsciously, not even knowing that they're doing it, and then ultimately getting to that point where they understand. And maybe that's the advantage of lockdowns, forced us all through an emotional gateway, and for you, you seem to have made all the right kind of advancements, Marcel. Well done. Let's now move on to another brilliant comment, very insightful, coming from Mashukuta, and she says, being a plus-sized woman who has stretch marks on both my legs and arms, there are many challenges I face on a daily basis. To make matters worse, I have dark spots in some areas on my arms and legs too. People are always opinionated on what I should and should not wear. I own my skin and wear it bravely by simply embracing my imperfections with confidence, and I affirm myself that I am beautiful and brave. Therefore, I will not allow anyone to box or cage me because of my skin condition. Umuhle mtasekaya zintre. I'd love to know what that means. I don't know who can translate that for me. That is beautiful, powerful, absolutely awesome that you've gotten to that point.
And you know, and I think, I hope that you see the vulnerability being shared here, because the thing is, we all have our own troubles and strive. And as Graham mentioned, you know, in lockdown, it forced us to face ourselves. But perhaps that mirror in front of you is your key to understanding that you are here for a reason and that there is true purpose in your existence. So enjoy that skin that you are currently living in and look after it as well.
Yeah,
we also have a competition as well, which is going to be great. You can stand a chance to win. This is fantastic. A 1,000 Rand voucher with Ingram's. Tell us how you own your skin and wear it bravely. And to do that competition, all you have to do is reply to the competition post, and that'll be available to you on the Expresso Facebook, Twitter and Instagram pages. And don't forget to hashtag your skin, your brave. Competition closes. That'll be today at midday. T's and C's can be found on expressoshow.com.
Nourish your skin with Ingram's Camphor Cream, enriched with camphor and glycerine. Trusted to restore and repair dry skin. Ingram's, your skin, your brave.
Well, I love it. From finding that inner glow to creating that outer glow. What better than with a rundown of the best beauty buys for spring? How about that? I'm joined by our beauty editor, Nox Mafu, who's going to be sharing with us now her top beauty buys for spring.
Yes.
You got me very excited about that. And you look like you've already gone and shopped all of those buys for spring.
Definitely. I have to make sure that if I'm going to talk about a glow, that I've already done it and I can tell you with good authority what to get so that you can find that in a glow.
A luminous queen right now. Well, let's talk about the change of seasons. We're moving from winter and we're stepping into spring.
100%.
I'm sure that comes with some adjustments that we need to make for our skins. What does that look like?
So I think from the beginning, like you said, we're shifting. I think the most important thing is to remember 4 things. You need to exfoliate. Exfoliation is going to allow that dead skin cell, all that dry, flaky skin that we created in winter, we're going to get rid of that. Then you need to step up your SPF, right? Because, of course, there's more sun exposure, so I hope you were doing it in winter, but now you're just going to step it up.
And a lot of people weren't doing it in winter. They weren't doing it in winter.
So if you weren't, step up your SPF because that's super important. Exfoliate, and then you can go for a lighter moisturizer, right? Because now your skin doesn't need as much, you can go with a lighter moisturizer, and then, of course, it's to make sure that you are nourishing not only your skin, your hair, all of that. Because we're exposed, it's about actually hyping up all that nourishment, and that just goes in the ingredients, right? So it's not to say that it needs to be heavy, but it's just that the ingredients that you go for
become important.
100%.
Well, let's talk about then the products specifically and those ingredients coming through. You've brought some along with you. I love to see it.
You know.
Take me through it.
Sure. So if we were to go for the face, we're going to talk about the face, the hair, and the body. Right?
Okay, cool.
So if we were to talk about the face, I think I'd start off with the W Beauty Micellar Water. This has got a great vitamin complex and really wonderful for taking off makeup and just removing those impurities. You might hear about double cleansing, which is about making sure that the impurities. So this would be my first step, and then for
I love that it works across all skin types.
100%,
which is great. You want that.
Oversensitive skin.
Yes.
To your combination skin. This is the girl for you. Just dab.
I like her. I like her.
You like it? Dab it on a bit of cotton wool, and you can just remove that makeup and also make sure that the day's impurities are gone. Then I would go in with the Estee Lauder Perfectly Clean, and this is a non-foaming, cream, which is great for, hydrating the skin while also taking off the dirt. Now, you can use this in 2 ways. Because it's a multi-action cream, you could use this as a daily cleanser, or you could decide on, 2 to 3 times a week that you would use it as a mask.
You switch up and you give it a break, bring it back in. I like that.
So you could use it as a mask. That's how potent it is. But it's also great as your daily cleanser. In combination with this, you are going to have a stellar face treatment.
I love that. So far, you've got my full attention, and a lot of people are considering now, okay, you're switching it up during this time. Then what else have you got?
Then I'll go for my body, right? So I would go in with the Modern Treats Refining Body Polish.
Yes.
I love this.
They're so popular now, right?
100%. It smells amazing.
Can I smell it?
Absolutely, you can. I'd never let you...
We'll go like that. Just like that. Yeah, but look at me now.
Exactly. So what you would do, you'd actually take a generous amount, and then you just, in circular motion, lotions, put it on the skin.
Yeah.
And that's a great way also to exfoliate. Like I said, it's an important thing, and you're already seeing the benefits. It smells like a dream. And this is really wonderful. Just before, you get into your proper nourishing part of it, this is a great way to start. Modern treats, refining body polish.
For the body, because also it's not just our faces that go through the dead skin experience.
100%.
No.
It's all those exposed parts that are really going to be vulnerable to dead skin. And then once we've done the polish, we can go in with the Clarence Relax Bath and Shower Concentrate. Now, this is a really luxurious formula, which I think we can also just test out. So it kind of comes in a formula such as this, and you can put this on your body to really get that nourishment in. I said earlier that it's important to bring back. So we've taken off the dead skins, now we nourish.
Feed your skin.
Exactly, and this has got essential oils, which is great for the skin, and to give it that extra power that we need for that glow.
You know, what I'm really trying to do at the moment is, I don't know if you're noticing, is I'm switching up my hair, right? So I went for a really clean cut, but I'm trying to grow it back now.
Okay.
What do we do to feed our hair?
So I am obsessed with this local brand called Suki Suki, and they're really amazing and create clean, natural hair, products. So they've got this, now let's say this word together, Mongongo Maracuja.
Okay. Yeah, you said it for both of us.
Exactly. So this is the nourishing shampoo that they have, which is really moisturizing, but it's also clean. So clean beauty is always my favorite.
I have to smell this, because that's the thing, is that you want a shampoo that also really smells good.
100%. Let me help you because you've got nourishment.
Because I've got nourishment all over the place. Yeah.
Let's do
so
it
when
like
would
this.
you use that specifically?
Here we go.
Would you use this after, say, is it a night cream that you put on?
So this is actually more for your hair. It's actually a shampoo. So what you would do is, with your normal cleanup, so if you are someone who does a co-wash before using a conditioner, this is also great to just get that deep clean for your scalp, to get all that extra dirt off your scalp, and then this is the way to do it.
And it protects your hair
100%.
from all those UV rays as well. Well, there you have it. The rundown on all your must-have beauty buys for spring that will have your face and your body and hair ready for summer. Shop all of these fabulous items at Woolworths. They are available in store. You can go online or on the Woolies app. I think I'm going to keep this one, eh?
You do that.
Because every time I see you,
it's a good time.
It's a good time, honey, man.
Woolworths brings you the beauty brands you love. From the icons you swear by to local favorites. From clean beauty to coveted fragrances. Your most loved beauty brands. Edited for you.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to Feel Good Breakfast Show. This is Expresso on S3, and there are some incredible movies that are launching today that you're going to need to see. And the best person to take you through them, JP Sebastian, is standing by. JP, what is up, my brother?
Away.
Away.
Good, how are you?
Liquor. So, JP.
Bosh.
Thank you so much. We are exploring Japan, and you just went away. This works for me.
Oh.
Konnichiwa. I hope that you're having the best day today, and I'm excited about these three movies. We've got The Forever Purge to get through. We've got something called The Protégé, and we got Malignant. But before we get to any of those, let's start off with The Forever Purge. Now, is this movie part of that Purge series that we've seen where, you know, there was so many different facets to it? It started off with one, then there was like a prequel. Where does this Forever Purge lie in that entire series?
So firstly, Ohayo gozaimasu in Japanese.
There we go.
That poster, hilarious to me. And I love how diplomatic you're trying to be about the purge. Like there's some essence to it, some substance to the political meaning. And sure, it's interesting like that, but come on. It's also just schlock horror, isn't it? So this one, now, obviously, we started in a home setting. It was like a home invasion kind of thing. Then it went citywide. Then it went, like, you know, a couple of cities wide. Now it's national. And now this one is after the election year one. What is this, the fifth purge or something like that?
Yeah.
And this movie was delayed a couple of times, obviously, because of the pandemic. And it seemed like they wanted to release it just after the election because the bad guys in this are guys who might self-describe as American patriots. They're kind of Trump types who wouldn't give up the ghost. Sorry, they showed a goat, so I had to be stupid. Yes, Ohio, everyone wake up. And so these guys are sort of like crazy right-wing types who hate immigrants and at one point in the trailer shout, "Speak English, you know, this is America," kind of thing. So playing into all of those fears after like the Capitol invasion. How do you write these movies, by the way? Like by the next one, they're going to be like, "I'm sorry, America just got like dumber in real life. How do we top what just happened in the news?" So the Forever Purge is some attempt to try and outdo reality, even though it seems like reality keeps up pretty badly as far as political friction in that country goes. But you know what? We've been looking for like the big ones, James Bond and all that other kind of stuff, Dune. But sometimes you do just need the B grade, and I'm kind of glad that these small ones are back. We want to watch some schlock sometimes too. Purge actually doesn't look so bad, Forever Purge. But yeah, it's obviously not necessary. Might hit the spot though.
I call these movies palate cleansers. You know, you need to watch them in between the big blockbusters to make the blockbusters seem a lot better. So I'm glad that these are on the table. The Protégé, the other movie that you brought to us now, I mean, Maggie Q, Samuel L. Jackson, Michael Keaton, that sounds a bit bigger.
Yeah, but it's you know, it's kind of like John Wick on a budget kind of thing. Like I've another.
Okay, please do tell.
I know that sounds harsh, and I know that Maggie Q is probably going to be knocking at my door. I hope. But she rolls her eyes as I say that. You know, like I said, sometimes just, you know, throw away popcorn schlock just does the trick as well. I'm sure that a lot of the budget was sunk into the cost you just mentioned there, like Michael Keaton, Samuel L. Jackson, who's like one of the highest paid actors still, who probably barely shows his face in this movie, but we'll find out, I'm sure. And Robert Patrick, all these dudes in their 70s, by the way. Like, it's kind of strange that we've got this whole crop of Denzel, Liam Neeson, and now Michael Keaton's giving it a try, Lawrence Fishburne. It's like, when are we going to get sort of thriller, spy kind of things with 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds? But the action looks tight. She's a lady who previously has trained with Jackie Chan, and she did so diligently. He's like one of her prophets to her. So she knows exactly what she's doing. I don't need to talk about her career at all as far as being an action star. I hope that she gets another chance, because this doesn't look so bad. And she doesn't seem to act too badly in it. Ain't seen it myself. I'm not sure that I will, you know, necessarily rush out to see it, but I'm sure that there's some fans out there who, in between missing John Wick, maybe felt disappointed by, I don't know, Gunpowder Milkshake, that wasn't so bad either. Could do with just like, you know, Lady Wick too, Woman Wick. But it's its own thing too, The Protégé. Maybe it gets its own spin-offs, doesn't look so bad. Go check it out in cinemas this weekend.
Like it, Woman Wick might actually be a very good concept. So thanks a lot for that. Protégé. The last one, it seems like a movie that I think I could get into because of the director James Wan on Malignant, which is... I love The Conjuring, and I was a big fan of that sort of sphere, even Saw, but now this is something new. Now, I checked out the trailer, and it seems quite warped. Even the camera work and cinematography seems a little different. Is this a deliberate move in to try and make a horror film possibly just a little more exciting? Because, I mean, even the actress, she's got this intensity that I really enjoy as well.
No, for sure, man. And this harks back to like a lot of the 70s horror, where all of it leaned on how well can this singular actress portray the paranoia of being center of the crosshairs, of being the main core and the possible victim at the end of the thing, and she clearly does her job just well. I think it's Annabelle Wallace is her name. But like you said, camera work looks great. It looks like people remembered. Hey, what about stuff like, I don't know, Dario Argento, Suspiria? What about, you know, all these other 70s horrors, and previously to that too, Hitchcock or whatever. But like you said, James Wan is the man for the job. He's a dude who's always trying new things in horrors, and Malignant, which is kind of like a pre-crime kind of Minority Report thing, where she sees murders before they happen. Is she the one who's inducing the murders because of her special imaginary friend? We'll find out when we watch Malignant this weekend. But actually, again, these are all sort of not necessarily huge budget stuff, but totally look like they hit the spot. Maybe Malignant's for you.
Thanks a lot, JP. Those 3 movies, so check them out. The Forever Purge, as well as Malignant and The Protégé. Of course, a little later, you and I will chat about Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, but we'll do that a little later. For now, let's focus on Omar.
Well, the Omars and the Opas. Here's this, dude. Can you believe we have officially been in lockdown for 533 days? Wow. That is crazy.
That's been tough. What
has the world been through? I think definitely one of the toughest challenges that we've had to endure, and it's, I think, comes to bear when we are separated from our loved ones who live far away. So with National Grandparents' Day this Sunday, which is the 12th of September, Omar Rusks have called on all of us to take the time to remember our Omars and our Opas and share some gratitude and some love for them.
And we love them. We love our Omars and our Opas.
I miss mine. Both of my grandparents have passed, and unfortunately when I was quite young, but I did have a very special bond with them individually. They taught me a lot. They were part of my life scripts in the development of that. But I understand you have a very, very special relationship with your gran, and you were able to have a visit with that. I mean, look, that shirt, that's Haman's Kraal popping right there, eh?
Well, I had to represent. Yes, I was lucky enough, you know, to be able to spend some time with my grandparents. I mean, look at my grand and I just singing and dancing there. And that's the thing. Every single time I spend time with them, it is exactly that. It's song, it's dance, but it's all the love, and it's been consistent for all of these years. And I was lucky enough to see them, 2 weeks ago when I went to Joburg, and it's just so precious seeing them grow and remain so consistent in the things that they teach us and how they make us feel.
What have they taught you? What are some of the biggest lessons you've learned from your grandparents?
I think my grandmother, specifically, the one thing that I have learned from her is to love people with patience. Be patient with people. Be patient with people, especially the people that you love. I think, you know, being a woman who raised all 4 sons, mainly by herself, with my granddad working in Johannesburg,
It's like the South African narrative, man.
Absolutely right. She's had to be so patient with all of them as they went through, you know, the dynamics of growing up and getting into that manhood space, or from you know, teenagehood into sort of becoming men. And she really always says to us, being patient with those people and never giving up on them. That is true love.
Oh, I absolutely love that, man. So in celebration of National Grandparents' Day, we asked you guys as well to share a video with the best life advice your grandparents have given you, and we put something special together. Take a look at this.
The greatest advice that I received from my grandparents was to always be appreciative of life.
As my granny would always say,
treat everyone in the same way you want to be treated.
Make sure that you just enjoy the good moments in life.
She would always tell us to be better than we were yesterday, and always tell us to dream big dreams.
Just try, and when you fail, you must get up and try again until you achieve what you want to be in life.
If you get opportunity today, grab it with 2 hands.
I must be sweet as I am now.
And I should learn to save and have money of my own.
The best advice that my grandparents have given me is to always remain rooted into your culture as well as your beliefs.
Never cook for a man who has never paid lobola for you.
She advised me to show some love and respect to everyone who comes into my life.
And I pray and I hope one day it will all be like this when I'm not here one day.
Oh man, I love it. Cook, boys. Yeah. Cook for a man who hasn't paid lobola for you.
Ain't nobody. Ain't nobody.
That is so beautiful. Thank you very much for connecting with us in that way and sharing some of those grand lessons that we have picked up from our grandparents. Now, if you are still fortunate enough to have your elders in your life, your grandparents, give them a call, pay them a visit, share your love and your gratitude with them, because we are who we are because of them. Honestly.
Undoubtedly. And to everyone who entered entered our competition and sent in their beautiful videos. Thank you so much. Make sure you join us on Monday as we will announce our 3 lucky winners. 3 of them are going to each walk away with a Omar Rusk's hamper worth 2,000 rand.
And remember this, never cook for a man who hasn't paid lobola for you. Maybe get him some rusks, but
never.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're live in S3. This is Expresso, your feel-good breakfast show. In case you missed it, there are some movies to look out for this weekend. Forever Purge is one of them, The Protégé and Malignant. But it's over to a movie that has been released already, but we didn't get around to it last week to give it a proper introduction, and this is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Part of the MCU. People were very excited for this to be the rebirth of something of a new phase, and JP Sebastian joins me to make sure that we give it the proper introduction. Now, JP, a scene setter. I know you brought a clip with you as well, but give us an idea where we are in the Marvel Cinematic Universe when we visit this new character, Shang-Chi.
So, like you said, this is going to be the one that kicks down the door for Phase 4 of the Marvel Universe. Obviously, the Eternals comes up next, and there's a bit of Spider-Man somewhere else, but who knows, whatever. This is the first time that a new character is introduced in a long time, and obviously, maybe, who knows, I'm not going to give away too much, inserts himself into this new universe of the Eternals in the Phase 4 of the MCU. Yeah, Shang-Chi. You want to know about Shang-Chi? Shang-Chi is a dude. And that's actually quite a lovable thing about him, is that he's not necessarily carrying all the baggage of, say, the difficulty of puberty, revenge, or anything else like that. He's just a dude. If you look up the dictionary definition of guy or dude, that's him. But tell you what, before I get into the meat and potatoes of what Shang-Chi is, you said that I have a clip, and I want to show you a clip before I get chopped again like last week. Nowhere late to the party, but let's talk about Shang-Chi. I feel like we're going to show it any second now. Here goes.
Here we go.
我不想惹麻烦，那就把项链交出来。
You have the wrong guy. Does he look like he can fight? Come on, bro.
You okay?
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Clev coming at you live on the bus. I actually did take a little bit of martial arts as a youth, so I'm gonna try and grade this fight as we're going.
That was absolutely epic. I know, look, you're getting me excited now, and I think that any Marvel fan would be like, what's the green thing on his neck? Does that look like the Time Stone? Why is he fighting in a train? This is crazy, dude. And let's unpack it even more. So Shang-Chi, you said he's a dude. But of course, he's
Yes.
now being driven by his past and his family into an organization called the 10 Rings, which we've seen before when we've seen the likes of the Iron Mans and the introduction of that version of the Mandarin. Where are we now with Shang-Chi?
Sorry, I'm giggling because I know that Carl wants to curate, like if there was a whole museum to Marvel, he would be doing the Shang-Chi tour. And on your left, 10 rings, and over there.
No, dude, you take it away. You are the commander of this ship. You go for it, bro.
No, I'm happy that you're happy because, like, you know, I don't necessarily got in my way for the superhero movies, but it's got to be a good thing if Chicky, of all people, is giddy about this one. Now, I know half of you have seen it already, so you can attest that while all that story kind of stuff is super interesting to people, and yes, he's not just a dude the way I portrayed it necessarily. There's sort of a Clark Kent thing going on. He loves the monotonous cycle of doing the same job, in and out, same routine, double dating, every, you know, like predictable, I don't know, fortnightly or whatever. But like, as long as it's predictable and on key, he sort of gets to hide from himself this past that is intent, as you can see by the bus fight, intent on catching up with it. So those dudes are clearly a bunch of guys who want that pendant, which to a viewer like myself who is not super engrossed and invested in that universe, don't care. Main thing for me, main takeaway is that Shang-Chi's action is the best in any Marvel movie that has ever been. Better than any other Marvel movie, and the action has been ramping up. It has been getting better and better. Obviously, the Captain America movies have exceptionally well choreographed things, but Shang-Chi is another level. As far as action scenes, like sometimes directors can be like, "Ooh, look what I did there! Look like this over-stylized kind of thing. Let's do this desperately, really, pathetic Zack Snyder type slow-mos where you're like, look at the cool thing I did," but you can see that there is work into the choreography. The camera work is excellent. Nothing is totally like detracting from the grace and the beauty of the choreography of the scene. Totally like self-absorbed or whatever. Action is the number one thing here. Tony Leung, what a good actor. Woo! We should be so excited to see him finally come to the West. And Michelle Yeoh, also, whose face you have seen here, scene stealers, totally, both of them. Excellent, superb actors. Awkwafina, such great chemistry that she brings. She is actually hilarious. She's growing so much. I'm really, really happy for her. And Simu Liu really owns this character so much. I mean, I'm saying such generic stuff here because, look, a lot of the story is sort of predictable, obviously. I mean, you even mentioned, like, Clark Kent kind of comparisons you can make. But main thing is that you're not going to see another Marvel movie that is as well designed in terms of action as Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
I got goosebumps, and I know, JP, you're not a bigger, sort of, you said you don't jump for superhero movies per se, but I need to find out what the popcorns are from your side. Are we going to look at something that's going to be sort of 6, maybe? What are we looking at?
So you mentioned goosebumps. Let's keep it physiological then. I'll put it this way if I can very quickly. So when a character in a movie says, "Now everyone let your breath lead the way," and the whole audience breathes out, that means that you're handling tempo in that movie so well. If you're flinching every time punch comes, that means your sound design and your timing of choreography is going excellently. So the whole physiological responses that came out of JP, even the temptation to just no reason, walking out of cinema, hands in my pockets, want to just gently tap a pillar I'm walking past with a fist. Your body wants to, do its thing. It's like after you watch Karate Kid and you want to crane kick someone in the parking lot. Shang-Chi will give you that. Please don't commit violence on other human beings. They say not social distancing or something after the movie, but it gets into your bones and your body. 8 out of 10 is totally deserved. I'm so tempted to push it, but he's still got a lot more story to tell. I'm sure that there's a trilogy in line and maybe it gets stronger and stronger from there. But 8 out of 10 from JP, you can't ask for more for a superhero movie.
Thank you so much, JP Sebastian. 8 out of 10 for a Marvel movie. That is huge. That's big. Go see it as soon as you can this weekend. But high scores there. This next recipe, this is probably a 10 out of 10.
Well, you simply cannot take a trip to Japan without making what we're about to make and inspire you to make today. Pokeball. And they're always so much fun. They are a burst of color, a burst of freshness. So perfect for this season as well.
Yeah, a burst of nutrition as well. We've got our omegas coming in there with our walnuts and, of course, and it means translated is basically a fish salad. So ultimately you will have a fish, but you can make a veggie Pokeball. You can kind of push the boat out. Today we are making quite a traditional fresh, beautiful, popping Pokeball. You're going to make the dressing. I'm going to make the actual Pokeball. I think they did a dirty on me and gave me a bowl that's like tiny for the amount of ingredients.
For the amount of stuff that's sitting here, I don't know where you're going to fit it all.
But it must be loaded, and ultimately you want a mixture of textural, you want fresh. Always fresh, popping, beautiful flavors. Okay, so I'm going to start with our bowl. I'm going to start layering and going through. So we've got some beautiful avocado.
That's going on your rice, right?
So we've got brown rice at the base. I'm going to do it like in the separate style. I'm going to put the salmon in the middle.
Oh, nice.
Look how beautiful that is.
And then I'm are going to just explode around the salmon. I like that.
We got our edamame beans, which are beautiful. They've got a beautiful texture. I love them. I love them fried, actually. They're beautiful. But I'm going to try and squeeze in. The coriander's going to be there and it's going to stay there.
So you're getting all sorts of like tastes and flavors there, because now I'm seeing you're getting some berries going in.
Some blueberries going in.
Yeah.
I'm going to just use my fingers to squeeze in some beautifully julienne carrots.
Nice.
See, texture.
It is all about texture.
Then we've got some beautiful red onion.
So while you get that happening, I'm going to make our dressing. Quickly here, I've got some orange juice going in. You've got some honey that's going in as well. Sriracha.
Oh, nice.
Right? Flavor.
A good sauce, I think a good sauce is vital for a poke bowl. And the more Asian the flavor, the better.
Yeah.
So I've put my walnuts in there as
Apple
well.
cider vinegar going in with the mustard sauce.
Lovely.
Some salt and some pepper, as well as some ginger. All of that going in. I'm going to mix it all together.
Cool.
Whisk, whisk,
Give it a whisk, 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 whisk,
whisk.
whisk. Okay, so I finished mine off with the walnuts and a bit of watercress. And if you are one of those people, those crazy, insane people that actually like coriander, you can also add some coriander if you're silly. No, I'm
what
joking,
is it with
I'm
you and
I know
coriander?
a lot of people love it.
That's a national treasure. I'm going to get some Be Well canola mayo there, going in thick and creamy.
You got the thick and
3
creamy version.
tablespoons
Nice.
of that. Really, you can go as generous as you want. But for this particular one, we're going to go with 3 tablespoons. What I'm going to do is, because it's dairy-free, we want to also just, ramp up on
So if you are going vegan, it's a great alternative to a lot of the other mayos on the market.
And then you're going to just get some of your Be Well canola oil going in, 3 tablespoons as well. But you can see I've got lots of experience, so I don't need the spoon. I can just do that.
Just intuition.
There we go.
And
so you need whisk some more.
I love that. That's going to be creamy and fresh. It's going to be the perfect balance.
Yeah.
To all of the beautiful textures in this bowl. I love the fact that we've got a bit of sweet, we've got some umami, we've got the saltiness of the smoked salmon, but it's the health benefits ultimately that you're going to get out of this. And when we talk about getting maximum nutritional value, whole state foods are the best. Find this on expressoshow.com. Beautiful, man.
En ek is Fritz Skoon.
And we're looking for SA's next big baking influencer.
12 van die land se beste bakkers gaan kompeteer, maar net een kan die titel verdien van Taste Master.
It's going to be sweet, it's going to be indulgent.
Dit gaan uitdagend wees, maar baie smaakvol.
The journey culminates right here on Hosendal Wine Estate, where we will crown our brand new Taste Master. Catch all the triumphs and flops on the Taste Master Baking Edition, 10 September at 7 p.m. on SABC2.
Welcome back as we savor the last few moments that we have with you for the week, but let's turn our attention to something very exciting. So this past Sunday, the wait was finally over and Mzansi's newest talent search TV show, Stand Up South Africa, finally launched on SABC2. Hosted by the radiant Danielle Langer. I got to do Satches with it.
Yeah,
so good.
Yeah, stunning.
Stand Up South Africa is a singing competition at its heart, but with a bit of a difference, where family duos battle it out to impress the studio audience and, of course, the judges in their attempt for a standing ovation.
And they're competing to ultimately win that grand prize. It's 100,000 rand, big prize. And they obviously do get to be crowned the best singing duet in South Africa now, with the voice of Africa, Kelly Khumalo, singing superstar, Kurt Darren, actress, dancer extraordinaire, Lorcia Cooper, one of my favorites, Khumalo as judges. The show does promise to unearth singing talent, allowing the viewers to follow the duo's personal journeys of, growth, all their victories, all of their disappointments as well. Now, last week, seeing 9 duos advancing to the next round, 14 more duos will be taking their shot at the grand prize, with only 8 duos to be accepted into the next round. It's like excitement.
Getting real, man. It's getting real. Who will it be? Watch to see who's on the running or in the running to be named South Africa's first stand-up champion. And tune in this Sunday from 6:30 p.m. on SABC2.
What would Friday be without an Expresso Friday dance? We've got something very special. Talking about talent, we've got talent behind me, and it's Japanese-inspired. Stand by and move the coffee table. That's the Devolution Dance Fam.
Just for you. Stop thinking you're better than me. Stop trying to act bougie. Stop thinking you're quiet, cause that is not quiet, cause you was the learner come meet. So just be liquor. Stand up, real be liquor. So just be liquor. Stand up, go be liquor. So just be liquor. Stand up, real be liquor. So just be liquor. Stand up, go be liquor. So just be liquor. Stand up, you be liquor. So just be liquor. Stand up, go be liquor. So just be liquor. Stand up, you be liquor. So just be liquor. Stand up, go be liquor.
Here's to the season of sunny breakfasts, healthy lunch breaks in the great outdoors, and romantic sunset dinners. Made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.